And my team helps you see the big picture so you can retire younger, richer, and with less anxiety. Because guessing is not a strategy. Tune in to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
Chris Ranji, Amy Marks Kors, The Chris and Amy Show.
Check it out.
We're with you until 12 o'clock today on the Chris and Amy Show. Then it's the Gas House Gang at noon with Bernie Miklasz and me. Here's our number, 314-436-7900. Here's a number that you can use to call and text. There is also a place where you can go to leave a voice message. That is called the Odyssey app. And you can also listen to the show and the podcasts there. Cardinals
Order. The top 3 stories everyone will be talking about.
The president has signed the funding bills. That ends now the longest U.S. government shutdown in the history of the country.
Yay! We did it. Also, striking Boeing workers will vote today on another offer. This one does have a lower overall bonus. We'll chat with KMOX reporter Sean Malone.
And Amy Marks Kors, it is happening. The Millennium Hotel, the site of the former Millennium Hotel, is being demolished. And that demolition is underway, according to the Gateway Arch Park Foundation. Well, it is happening.
With whom we have a bone to pick.
We sure do.
So the demolition is underway. It's underway. That means they've started. Why is that important? I imagine it's blocked off, right? Once you start demolition, you can't just walk up to it. Ranj, did you get an email?
I never got
a text,
an email.
A call about the weeds on top of the Millennium Hotel, which you have been asking for years now?
Nope. Didn't get an email. Didn't get any notification.
Wow.
Nobody ran it by me. Like, I knew they were going to demo the thing. I mean,
it's like if you had a kid, right? Your kid's all grown up, and your kid is, going to tell you, Mom, Dad, we're having a baby. But they send it in a blast email. They don't even tell you first.
Actually, here's what it's more like. You got a group of friends that are going out for the night, and you say, yeah, hey, just let me know when you're on the way, and then I know to leave, and then I can meet you there. And they say, yeah, cool. And then like an hour, 2 hours go by, and then you text them and say, hey, have you left yet? And they go, oh, we're already here. Sorry.
Oh.
That's what's happened at the Millennium Hotel. So the demolition has begun. And as you know, one of the things that I desperately want, if I get anything for Christmas, it's this, hopefully. It is the weeds growing out of the roof of that hotel. And I was promised, was I not promised, Amy, that I would get them?
You were promised. I was here. I think all of our listeners were here for it. I will say, it's kind of like how nobody really knows how big a moose is unless you've seen a moose. Whatever you're picturing in your head, you're wrong. In my head, I pictured the weeds as a potted plant.
I think they're kind of big, probably.
I think,
they look more like a tree.
Yes, because they have to grow taller than the wall that is basically that ledge on top of the Millennium Hotel. So it's probably like 7 or 8 feet tall.
So the Gateway Arch Park Foundation did reach out to us today, and they told us that demolition is happening, and they've sent a bunch of photos over, and I can see that on the tall tower of the building, the weeds are still there. So they have not been removed yet. That means that it's not out of the question I can end up getting them. But, they want people to submit photos and stories about the site. They want people to, if they've had any experiences there, you can let them know about it so that they can preserve it. And they want you to send them to stories@archpark.org.
Okay.
So I think that people should send us at Chris Amy KMOX their photos of the weeds.
We would love that. I think that would mean a lot.
But here's the thing, Amy, the overall, joking aside, it's good. It's progress. It's something different, because the reason I bring up the weeds all the time, and for people who don't know what I'm talking about, I was at a Cardinals game I don't know, when I first moved back here to St. Louis, so 2017, 2018. And I remember sitting in the ballpark and looking up at the skyline because it's a beautiful ballpark and it's a really nice skyline. And I knew the Millennium Hotel was vacant. But just looking up out of the corner of my eye, I noticed, wait, hold on a second. Those can't possibly be weeds growing out of a roof. From what is supposed to be one of the best visuals in the city is sitting behind home plate and looking out toward the outfield and seeing the skyline, seeing the arch, seeing the buildings as you're taking in a Cardinals game. Yeah. And one of the buildings has weeds growing out of it.
A family photo, but you left an overflowing trash can in the picture.
Yeah, it's exactly what it felt like. And I know it's not that big of a deal, but it's just a bad look. And it bothered me, and it's been bothering me because those weeds have been there for at least 8 years since I moved back.
Yeah.
And at least we're getting some progress. Something new is going to go on that site. We've seen the renderings of it. It looks good, looks cool. But what downtown St. Louis needs is to be rejuvenated, and hopefully this project goes a long way for it.
Yeah, and I think it will, because as you mentioned, it's a gem. It's supposed to be a gem of our St. Louis skyline, and
it's prime
it
real
has
estate.
it left in dereliction and disrepair. And so to have the weeds growing on the Millennium Hotel, I think it does strike to the pinch points of low self-esteem of our city. Like, this is so St. Louis. So what's so great is that, yes, they're finally going to do something with that area, make it a thriving district with restaurants and businesses. And it will change the skyline, which is something interesting because all those John Pills posters that we all have, and they've got the Millennium Hotel. The skyline's going to look different,
right? Because
that will be gone. But I think this district that they've designated, a mixed use development, a special entertainment district, I do believe in the progress that will create. I was talking to you guys about getting my hair done. I got my hair done, and everyone who's been in a chair at a salon knows that sometimes, at least for women, if you're getting your hair colored or dyed or whatever, it can be a long process, hours long. And I was talking to my hairstylist who's in her early 20s, and she lives downtown. I'm like, oh, wow. She's like, yeah, I live right next to Ballpark Village. And she was talking about how, she goes, you know what I don't like? How people always have this, they always put down the city, and there's this narrative that it's not safe or there's nothing to do. And she really enjoys living next to Ballpark Village. She goes to the restaurants, and they're a handful, like the Wheelhouse is downtown, right? That bar. And she named kind of the same restaurants that they go to, or bars or clubs or whatever. But she enjoyed it. And what she implied with her friends, that there is a need for that, and there is an appetite for that. I think young people, especially, and I'm leaning into young people because that's who a lot of times lives downtown in the areas. I think they would flock to an area like that. I think every time we have an entertainment district, yes, you're going to get people from the suburbs coming down here for a baseball game or a hockey game and hanging out, watching a game at Ballpark Village. But to have people living here and walking around, I do think this helps a lot.
But that's also what you want to. You do want people from the suburbs to come in and to stop saying, oh, I'm not going downtown. It's too dangerous. That's what you want, and I think we can get there. It might take a while, but projects like this will go a long way toward that. It's not going to be a fix-all, obviously. There are going to need to be many more of those sorts of projects. And you're talking about the skyline, and it made me think, in any iconic city in the country, in the world, the skyline is always changing.
Mm-hmm.
Really, I would say modern cities, because some of the older iconic cities have historic buildings that don't change. But
and ours
in a
can
city
only
like
change
this,
so much because of the arch rule. We're not building anything taller than the arch.
And so we have that, Chicago, their skyline, New York, always changing. And that's okay. I think we want that it just indicates progress. And as a city, we need that desperately, and we will continue to need it. So this is a good starting point
It is.
that the demolition of that building is happening because, first of all, having out-of-town owners, where were they? Singapore? Is that where the
Japan
owners were?
or Singapore? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we just can't. Look, you can't have owners of properties right in the heart of downtown, don't live here, have no skin in this game, don't care if the buildings sit derelict for years and years and years because they don't have to see it every day. So it's a good thing that was taken away from them, that was purchased from them, and now locals are doing something about it.
I want to make a quick note just with the details because we've been talking about this development. It's going to take about 2 years to fully tear down the old Millennial and do all the demolition that's necessary. But it's Cordish, the company that did all of its work on Ballpark Village. They're the ones that are the developers on this project. It's a $670 million project, which will have upscale residential, Class A office space, an amphitheater, a food hall, and an improved streetscape and other amenities. And I truly believe that this is something that's going to succeed and that there is an appetite for it. And the more development you have, where you have this development adjacent to Ballpark Village, it raises the whole area.
Big Blonde Dan texts in and says, I heard the promise. He's referring to the weeds, and he says witness. So I do have a witness there. And also another texter says, don't think of them as weeds. Consider them to be the greenery on the plaza.
That is a pretty delightful name.
That is really delightful.
Sounds positive.
Let's do it. So looking forward to what is to come at one of the prime areas in downtown St. Louis, just a block over from Busch Stadium. Looking forward to it. And looking forward to having those weeds in my yard. It's Chris and Amy on 104.1 FM KMOX. We're going to talk to Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski at the bottom of the hour, just after 9:30. We will talk about the government shutdown coming to an end. That and more with a Congresswoman that is happening this hour on KMOX.
At Cardinal Glennon Children's Hospital, every moment with our patients is a gift. This holiday season, you can be the reason children have hope as they fight serious illness and reach milestones once thought impossible. Your gift provides life-saving care to those who need it most. Please donate today at treeofhope.org and be the reason a child has hope for tomorrow.
Purina presents A Century of Service.
This is KMOX Radio.
KMOX is celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining St. Louis. On November 20th, KMOX Day, we will celebrate the KMOX pioneers.
This is Jim White for your information.
Legendary voices.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Groundbreaking programming.
KMOX Radio. We're at your service.
And unforgettable moments that have defined a century of broadcasting.
We did locate Ben this afternoon, and we've also located Sean Harnbeck.
Hear from current and former KMOX personalities who have helped make this station the preeminent news, information, and sports brand in America. A Century of Service, celebrating 100 years of KMOX, is presented by Purina, your pet, our passion, on the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Every week on the Moth Podcast, we share stories that are funny, strange, heartbreaking, and above all, true.
I myself have been married for 56 years. Unfortunately, to 4 different women.
It turns out the people I was looking for all my life is what you people would call nerds.
Follow and listen to The Moth on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's ruffgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Hey, just check the mail. We've been invited to a seminar and dinner is free.
It's going to be chicken, and it'll taste like Play-Doh.
Don't be fooled. All seminars are not the same. For example, Steve All, an investment advisor representative and founder of the All Financial Group, is hosting a taxes and retirement seminar at his office in Chesterfield on December 10th. Come meet Steve's newest advisor, Tracy Richardson, as she discusses the big beautiful bill, taxes on your Social Security, and more. Tracy will not only cover the hurdles you can face in retirement, but ways to keep more money in your pocket and less in Uncle Sam's. This is a complimentary event, but seating is limited, so reserve your seat today. Call 636-230-8824 or online at yourmoneymattersstl.com.
You know, hon, I've always been interested in us buying a timeshare.
I'd rather eat Play-Doh.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC IPW, a registered investment advisor. Neither the firm nor its agents or representatives may give tax or legal advice. Individuals should consult with a qualified professional for guidance before making any purchasing decisions.
For residential and commercial heating repairs, service, maintenance, or installation, contact Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation. With over 50 years of HVAC service, get in your comfort zone this winter. Visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
This is Senator Eric Schmidt congratulating KMOX and its 50,000 red hot watts on 100 years on the air in St. Louis.
Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores with you. Now, we talked about this Uber feature several months ago, but it is now available in St. Louis, and that is its Women Preferences feature. So Uber has launched its Women Preferences feature in St. Louis now, which allows women riders and teens to choose to be matched with women drivers. And this is to help them feel more comfortable. So according to Uber, the option was highly requested across the entire country, and they've had successful trials of the feature in Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Detroit. The program is now expanding to 26 more cities, and that includes St. Louis. And I will say, I love this feature. It does matter. It does make a difference with feeling comfortable, with feeling safe. When you take Uber in New York or in Washington, D.C. or Chicago, which I've done, it's so crowded. There's so many people. The trips are really just not that far. It just takes a while sometimes because you're in the city. You're never going more than 10 miles an hour, it feels. That's one thing. But I've taken an Uber ride in St. Louis. I've taken an Uber ride in Arizona, where it's like a 30-minute drive or a 40-minute drive because everything's so spread out that you're not in a crowded area. Sometimes, I took an Uber, a couple of years ago for a really early flight. So we got picked up at 4:30 a.m.
Yeah.
In Soulard, and then we went to the airport. Well, that can be a little bit of an intimidating ride. It's dark, no one's out. So I love this feature. And again, it's for women riders.
Well, personally, Amy, I kind of like the thrill. I like the thrill of the danger. So I would like a feature where I can request the sketchiest driver.
Well, I will say this, you being 6'4", whatever it is you are,
I'm
you
6'2".
could I feel like you could overpower most drivers if you got attacked.
Okay.
There's that. There is an element of that.
You're probably right. That's why you always get into the car and sit directly behind the driver, even though every other seat is open.
Wait, do you really?
No, I do not do that. Not for real. Do you know how uncomfortable?
Staring at him in the rear view mirror, just your eyes poking out above his shoulder.
Just leaning to the side just to make sure he sees that I see him. So here's what's funny is that it was from a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
Axios did a story about the best and worst rated Uber riders, not drivers, but riders in the country. And you'll never guess who was the best rated city or the second best rated city in the country. Want to take a guess?
St. Louis.
Yes. We had the second best ratings for riders, Uber riders. That's so people who use the app, not people driving, in the entire country. Number 2. That's not bad for us. And so since we are number 2,
Yeah.
I think we deserve good drivers.
We deserve great drivers.
Non-sketchy drivers.
Now, do you take your Uber rating personally? I do.
I don't even look at it.
I take it so personally.
As long as the damn thing shows up and drops me off, we're
Yeah.
good.
Well, to be fair, I don't take Ubers frequently.
Okay.
It's not a big need for me to take Ubers, especially now that I'm like driving to Colorado. If I do go on a trip, I'm driving. So I'm never renting a car. I'm never using an Uber. But the Uber rating for a rider can be very confusing. And they say, like, if your rating drops down to 4.7, people might not even pick you up. This is 4.7 out of 5. And my rating was 4.72. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I'm quiet. I'm respectful. So I called them. I was so upset I called them. I said, what could I have possibly done? I said, I don't drink. I've never been drunk. It's usually going to the airport or being picked up from the airport. And, I'm conscientious. And they said, well, how hard do you close the door?
There you go.
And I said, well,
that is the number one reason Uber
reason.
drivers demerit you.
So my brother-in-law, on
Do
the other
not
hand,
slam the door when you get out.
my brother-in-law, on the other hand, who lived in New York for 20 years, took 7 billion Uber rides, had a 5.0 rating until he moved to Nashville. His rating dropped to 4.7, 4.6. And he thought, what in the world have I done? Like, how is this possible? And apparently in Nashville, they want you to talk. He's a New Yorker. He was quiet. He would get in, do the ride, and leave. And apparently he wasn't talkative enough.
Well, in Nashville, they are right behind St. Louis, according to that survey, for the best rated Uber riders. So was it your brother, you said?
Brother-in-law.
Your brother-in-law? Your brother-in-law is one of the rare ones. He's one of the bad Uber riders.
He's getting it back up.
He got it
Because
back
now
up?
he knows the
Okay.
rule. Now he
Okay.
knows you got to be chatty.
Yep. Well,
And
he's
that's
got a
what's-
lot to live up to.
He's got a lot to live up to.
Third best Uber riders in the country, right behind St. Louis. San Antonio's number 1, in case you're wondering.
I don't believe that.
Oh, me neither.
That can't be right.
The government shutdown is over, and Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski from Illinois voted no on the bill to end the shutdown. We're going to ask her about that and what's to come. That is next on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Hey guys, Dave Glover here for the Dave Glover Show. So, what is my show? My show is 4 different people living 4 different lives, all coming together every day between 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. to talk about life, actual life, not so much headlines or did you see what Trump did today or XYZ. Never predictable because I never know what I'm going to talk about from one segment to the next. So it truly is unique and unpredictable. Join us.
104.1 FM KMOX.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-473-9933. 800-473-9933. 800-473-9933.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Well, as Matt Pajeski said, it's a bad day to be Chris Ranji because it's going to be gorgeous today. Sunny to partly cloudy, a high of 67. We're at 51 right now. Tonight, partly cloudy this evening, followed by some clouds, a low of 49.
Brought to you by Valvoline Instant Oil Change. Service you can see, experts you can trust.
Sounds like your sleigh's about to get prepped for the season. At Valvoline Instant Oil Change, we don't just change your oil. We also check your tire pressure, battery, wipers, and lights. Just stay cozy in your car and let our trained pros handle the rest. No appointment needed.
Missouri, get ready. FanDuel, which is America's #1 sports book, is coming soon. And starting December 1st, new customers in Missouri can get up to $300 in bonus bets when you make your first $5 bet. So from touchdowns to home runs to three-pointers, with FanDuel, any play can be the play of the game. And with live betting, you can even get in on the action after the game has already started, all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. FanDuel is the best way to game day, and it's coming soon to Missouri. Just visit FanDuel.com/promo code to learn more. This way you'll be all set to bet when FanDuel goes live in Missouri on December 1st. That's FanDuel.com/promo code. Play your game with FanDuel, the #1 rated sportsbook app. Must be 21 or older and present in Missouri. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Offer starts 12/1/2025. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG.
It's the Medicare Advantage annual enrollment period, and Humana knows not everyone has the same needs when picking a Medicare Advantage plan.
Now that I'm retired, I want to enjoy the life I've worked hard to build. So I want a plan that covers me when I'm traveling the country.
Humana has a plan for that.
As a veteran, I want a plan that fills in the gaps my VA coverage doesn't provide, like dental care.
Humana has a plan for that.
I feel good about my health. I just want care and coverage with predictable costs. No surprises.
Humana has a plan for that. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you get coverage and benefits that focus on what matters most to you. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
They're playing basketball. Saturday night, it's men's Billikens basketball as they face Grand Canyon. Pre-game 6:45, tip at 7 on 104.1 FM KMOX.
It is the Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX. The government shutdown, the longest in history, is officially at an end. And to talk about it with us is Congresswoman from District 13 in the state of Illinois, Nikki Budzinski. She joins us now on KMOX. Good morning, Congresswoman. How are you?
I am okay. Good to be with you guys again.
So the president signed it after it came out of the Senate, then on to the House, who passed it, and now here we are. We know that you voted no on it. Can you tell us why you decided to do that?
Well, just simply put, it doesn't address the healthcare crisis that I think my constituents are grappling with every day now. The skyrocketing premiums that people have been getting notice of starting in October with open enrollment that just started on November 1st, that reality became even more real for constituents, seeing their premiums more than double. You know, consistently, I had said throughout the shutdown, we wanted to see as a part of any final deal negotiated something that would address healthcare costs in this country. I think that was a very reasonable request. I was very disappointed that the deal that came over from the Senate did not include that. And so that was why I voted no last night.
Is there concern with you or the Democrats who did vote no that constituents would see the ongoing problems with, airports and SNAP benefits and getting paid and say, oh my gosh, the Democrats are the ones that are keeping this going, or that Republicans would have that leverage?
Look, I think there was very real pain that I saw in the district, meeting with food banks, meeting with farmers markets, seeing a skyrocketing increase of people coming in that were hungry, looking for some type of assistance. It's why I ended up making the decision. I went without pay alongside all of our federal workers. I represent 3,800 of them in my district. That pain was very real. And for that reason, I am glad that the government is reopened. But I will say it's also very clear, I think, to voters that it is the Republican Party that is in control of the White House, the Senate, and the House. And what they failed and refused to do consistently over this entire shutdown was just sit down across the table from Democrats and try to negotiate something on a bipartisan basis that would address our biggest and singular concern, which is health care. And so their failure to do that, I think voters are also going to not forget that. And when they continue to see this healthcare crisis continue to get exponentially worse, I've been talking about the ACA tax credits, but also on my mind is the almost $1 trillion of cuts to Medicaid that this administration and Republican leadership jammed through Congress prior to this shutdown. So, I think there's a lot of factors at play here, but I think voters understand that it is Republicans that are in complete control of Washington and led us down this path.
Democrats were promised a vote on those subsidies next month. What is the assurance that anybody has that is actually going to happen?
Well, that's the biggest concern I have. There is no assurance from Speaker Johnson. I think, you could take Leader Thune at his word that in mid-December there will be a vote in the Senate, but whether it's even heard on the House floor, Speaker Johnson has made it very clear he does not support those tax credits. He's going to get a lot of pressure, I think, on all sides to do something. As Democrats, we've been looking at how we can continue this fight even after the government has reopened. There are just very few tools in our toolbox, being in the minority, for us to utilize. One of them is a discharge petition, which would require a simple majority, so bringing over a few Republicans. We now have just a 3-seat minority status, Democrats do, in the House, so it would take just a few profiles and courage over on the Republican side to join us to force a vote on the ACA tax credits in the House. But I don't think, out of the goodness of Mike Johnson's heart, he's going to be doing this. So I have real concerns over that.
When you look at the makeup of the House of Representatives now, it's not the traditional, I think, the old school historical Republican and Democrat splits, in the sense that we saw some representatives, maybe surprisingly Marjorie Taylor Greene, splitting from the president when it came to spending or when it came to the shutdown. And this is a presidential administration that it's not afraid to spend. So in your experience, where are you seeing the lines being drawn on where Republicans are willing to spend and where they're not?
Well, I think that's a really good question, Amy. I mean, what we're seeing, they're willing to spend in the big, I refer to it as the big ugly bill. They did about $4 trillion, a little short of $4 trillion worth of deficit spending, adding to our national deficit in order to give tax breaks to the top 1%. Those tax breaks are permanent. What's also permanent is lowering the corporate tax rate from 35% to 21%, a real giveaway to corporate America in this country during a time when working people are truly struggling. They're struggling to just keep their heads above water. Healthcare obviously being a very big pain point, but I would also say utility costs. One of the things that President Trump did was he eliminated all the clean energy tax credits. Why that hurts us is that means that fewer clean energy projects are going to come online. We need more energy generation to bring down utility bills in this country, in my district. That's just 2 pain points, let alone the inflation that is happening and rising costs at the grocery store because of his tariff policies. It's very unclear to me. You're asking me to diagnose the Republican Party on where they'll spend and where they won't. But I will say I'm very disturbed at where they do seem to be very inclined and willing to spend is to those top earners in this country. Who needs real relief in this country? The working people that are really just struggling to get by today. And that's not where I'm seeing the Republicans focus their priority in on.
Democratic Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski with us on KMOX. And if none of this relief ends up coming, the vote doesn't happen, or the vote does come and it doesn't go the way of, that you are wanting it to go, what sort of relief can you offer to people? How much can you do on an individual level for people in your district?
Yeah, and you're asking that, Chris, because of healthcare, what I can be doing to bring down costs now?
just in general, and I know that you cannot unilaterally bring down healthcare costs, but
I
is
wish
there?
I could. Let
Yeah.
me tell you.
What can you do for this?
You know what? Could you maybe
Make
you,
a phone call?
I think you might need to run for emperor, honestly. But I mean, what I don't know how much can be done.
Yeah, well, I think there are some things that can be done. I think first and foremost, we should extend the big deadline is at the end of this year. December 31st is when those ACA tax credits expire. Let's extend them. We have our leadership on the floor introduced a discharge petition yesterday that I signed that would extend the ACA tax credits by 3 years. Again, we just need 3 Republicans to join us in order to do that and to force a vote on the House floor. I think something else that I've been really looking at is pharmacy benefit manager reform, PBM reform. We also talk about in the district a lot how prescription drug prices are also skyrocketing. Obviously, that's another really big component when we're talking about overall healthcare costs. How do we bring those down? I've been advocating and have been leading on legislation that has been bipartisan on PBM reform, which is the middleman that kind of, in my opinion, has really contributed to jacking up a lot of the prices as it relates to prescription drug costs. We need more transparency within that industry so that consumers understand where the cost is going, why the cost is so high for prescription drugs in this country. I think that's a bipartisan piece of legislation in addition to the tax credits that we can be looking at that should be supported and would help provide relief to working people. I also just want to say I support fair trade in this country. I'm one of the biggest proponents of protecting Granite City steel manufacturing in this country. Unfair trade deals have really hurt our steel manufacturing and our steel workers in this country. But I'm not for dumb trade policy, which I would argue is the way this administration is looking at punishing some of our biggest trading partners like Canada. Why that's important when you're talking about working people is that is what is driving up costs within the grocery store. We need to bring down costs, and I think we need to bring more reason to our tariff policies and hold this administration accountable. Historically, trade policies have been negotiated with Congress. There's a case in the Supreme Court right now as it relates to the Trump administration's policies on tariffs, which could be earth-shattering for this administration because the Supreme Court could come out and say the way they've been doing tariffs is not legal, and they do need to consult with Congress. Those are the kind of things that I think if we could start working together on, create some more sanity around these policies, I think we can start to bring down costs. And that is the number one thing people want to see.
Representative Budzinski, earlier this year, there was there are some strange alliances like Senators Bernie Sanders and Senator Josh Hawley coming together to introduce a bill capping credit card interest rates. And I bring that up, that strange alliance, because have you had any productive conversations with some surprising members of the House? If you want to name names, you can. If you can't, that we understand. But have you had productive conversations with maybe someone you wouldn't expect?
Yeah, that's a really good question because I think that sometimes politics can make for strange bedfellows. Mm-hmm. But if it's about, and I've always consistently said this, Amy, like I'm willing to work with anybody if it's on an issue that's going to support our communities. I will say just, someone that comes top of mind that obviously is within our own region is Congressman Mike Bost, who's to the south of me. He and I share Scott Air Force Base is technically in his district, but it's been a lot of the folks that work on the base actually live in my district. And so we've worked together on a number of different issues. But one in particular that's top of mind that I am really advocating and leading with Mike Bost on in the National Defense Authorization Act is called the Boots Act. We have a boot manufacturer in Belleville. They produce a lot of the military boots that our service members wear. We want to bring back American manufacturing. We want more onshoring. Mike and I are leading on legislation. It's called the Berry Amendment that would say that all of our service members should be wearing American-made boots. Why that's important is boots right now, military boots are typically about 90% manufactured in China. I actually think that's a national security risk. For preparation, we need to build out this industry and support manufacturers like Belleville Boots. And so Mike and I are working together on a bipartisan basis. We have Senator Susan Collins in the Senate. We have Senator Angus King helping to pull this in that direction on the Senate side. And so I just point that out as something that's very local to the area, very local to the district. Mike and I don't agree on a lot of issues, but on this issue, we have come together. And I think that's a part of what's going to fix this very broken system in Washington, is quite frankly not giving up on those conversations and not giving up on the ability to try to find the common ground where we can work together. And the Boots Act is something that benefits Mike and I and our entire region, and we're working together on it.
Lastly, a few Republicans joined Democrats in signing a discharge petition to force a vote on the release of the Epstein files. This has been a big topic for it has been for a while. What do you what do you believe will come of that?
Well, I think this is going to continue to get more and more attention here. We heard that the president yesterday was utilizing the Situation Room in the White House to individually call in House Republicans that joined Democrats to sign that discharge petition to try to convince them to get off of the discharge petition. That's suspicious, to say the least. I think we need more transparency. I've been saying we need more transparency around this issue for many months. I think Adelita Grijalva, who's my newest member, colleague from Arizona, was finally sworn in yesterday. The first thing she did was sign that petition, making it the 218 magic number that will be locked in now, that will force more transparency from the House on this issue, the release of the full files. I think that needs to happen. But what you did see also yesterday was the House Oversight Committee releasing some excerpts of emails that clearly seem to indicate that the president might have had more of a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein than what he's been disclosing. So to solve all of this, we need transparency. That's all I'm advocating for. What was the nature of that relationship? And I think that discharge petition is something that I'm hoping will provide voters with that transparency as it relates to this case.
Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski from Illinois, we appreciate your time. Thank you for talking with us today.
Thank you for having me, guys. Thank you.
Nikki Budzinski from District 13 in the state of Illinois, joining us once again on the Chris and Amy Show. It is 104.1 FM KMOX.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. In September, House Republicans passed a bill to keep the government open by extending funding at current levels. Now Washington liberals are holding the American people hostage. They shut down your government and are demanding Medicaid for illegal aliens and funding for woke projects, which would cost taxpayers $1.5 trillion. Now federal workers are missing paychecks. That's unacceptable. Throughout the shutdown, our offices will remain open to help you, our constituents. Go to onder.house.gov to find the office closest to you.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Right now, someone in a Hardee's kitchen is about to warm up your winter with the new grilled cheese bacon burger. Charbroiled 100% Angus beef, bacon, and Swiss and American cheese melting on our soft, buttery sourdough. And our new grilled cheese breakfast sandwich with sausage or bacon and a fried egg. Cozy up to the goodness of the new grilled cheese bacon burger and breakfast sandwich. For a limited time, only at Hardee's. Cinnamon Raisin Biscuits are back. Unwrap them while you can. Only for a limited time at participating restaurants.
Missouri, get ready. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming soon, and I do mean soon. We're talking about 2.5 weeks. December 1st, new customers in Missouri can get up to $300 in bonus bets when you make your first $5 bet. This is great. And so if you've been wanting to do some sports betting here in the state of Missouri and not having to drive across the river or go over to Kansas or whatever it is, you'll be able to do it December 1st right here in the state of Missouri. Visit FanDuel.com/Missouri to learn more. Get the app, and then you will be all set to bet when FanDuel goes live soon. My gosh, December 1st is coming up. FanDuel.com/Missouri. Play your game with FanDuel, the #1 rated sportsbook app. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Offer starts 12/1/2025. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG.
St. Louis, fall is finally here and back with everything you love about the holiday season. Trans-Siberian Orchestra brings the Ghosts of Christmas Eve to Enterprise Center, December 23rd at 3 p.m. A portion of the proceeds benefits Siteman Kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, the Ghosts of Christmas Eve at Enterprise Center, December 23rd at 3 p.m. For more information, kmox.com/events.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This is Justin Brown with Krenz Financial Group. For over 6 decades, we've helped St. Louis families and businesses plan with purpose and live with confidence. Is your financial advisor proactive or reactive? If your strategy or service feels stagnant or misaligned, it may be time for a change. Our defined, proactive approach to investments and communication keeps you informed and prepared for what's ahead. Let's talk about what makes us different and how a more engaged advisor can help you reach your goals. Your goals, our mission. Start today at kfgadvisors.com.
Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services. Member FINRA/SIPC. Prince Financial Group is not a broker-dealer.
This fall, get a taste of what's to come at Dragonstone, an exclusive new Lombardo Homes community in Darden Prairie, west of Highway K and south of 364. Join us Saturday, November 15th at our Inverness display in O'Fallon for a grand opening celebration filled with treats, a cozy coffee bar, mini pumpkin pies, and a first look. Dragonstone, building Tradition Series homes and offering only 5 spacious home sites. Dragonstone offers luxury and privacy, as well as the convenience of living just minutes from Highways 364 and 64. Visit LombardoHomes.com for more information.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX. Now, did you see this? With Chris and Amy.
This is less of a did you see this and more of a did you hear this? Australia, where 374 bagpipers gathered to play AC/DC's It's a Long Way to the Top, which set a new world record for the largest ever bagpipe ensemble.
374 bagpipe ensemble.
Yeah.
Wow. I like bagpipes.
I said, how they always have the undertone of, yeah.
Yeah, there's a humming, a drone there. I love bagpipes, man. I think it can be ominous, it can be joyful. It can be a bagpipe can be anything.
I heard in an interview with
be sorrow.
It can be with a very famous bagpiper that she had to take lessons for a year. You usually have to take lessons for a year before you can try to play your first song.
Oh my God!
I know
that doesn't sound right.
That's why so many people.
Who's going to stop you from getting a bagpipe and trying at home to play a song? Who's going to stop you?
Could be why so many people are dropping out of bagpipe school.
Do the bagpipe authorities show up and say, you've only been in for 8 months?
You've only been in.
I hear you trying to play a tune. You can't play it. All right. The New York Post is
cut off all the.
They just rip the bag with box cutters. The New York Post, it can be a real rag sometimes, but other times it really hits.
Okay.
And this headline from today is just fantastic. The headline is Adolf Hitler likely had a micro penis and just one ball. This is a headline from the New York Post.
9:54 a.m.
Well,
Ranch.
I don't know what to tell you. The story says Adolf Hitler likely had a micro penis and just one ball. A new DNA analysis claims the genocidal Nazi dictator is believed to have had a hidden genetic disorder known as Kallmann syndrome, which can thwart the development of sexual organs, according to a stunning new documentary analyzing his biological makeup. It can also inhibit the normal progression of puberty. Means Hitler had a 1 in 10 chance of having a micro penis. So,
Where did they get this DNA?
He was still in the bunker, right?
You know what? I don't really know a whole lot that happened after the bunker part, like what they did with his body.
It is an upcoming Channel 4 documentary. Not Channel 4 locally. It's called the documentary. It's not our Channel 4.
KMOV is freaking out.
No,
right
this is over in the UK. And that documentary is entitled Hitler's DNA Blueprint of a Dictator. It's going to air on Saturday. So,
a micro dictator.
A micro dictator.
Oh.
Yep. I mean, it's possible that he was such a butthole because of that.
I wouldn't blame.
That's part of it.
Well,
if you grow up resenting yourself, which he very likely did, and he was also had other disabilities, they say.
And he was evil. There's that.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying is maybe that leads you to being evil. It shouldn't. I mean, that's not the next logical step. Anyway, Hitler had a micro penis, according to this report. And if he didn't, go sue me, Hitler. I don't care. Go ahead, sue me.
I will say, New York Post is good for grabbing eyeballs.
And a 1923, according to the story, a 1923 medical report on him, which was unearthed 10 years ago, indicated he had just one testicle, lending credence to a World War II era song called Hitler Only Got One Ball.
It's not true.
It is. There's a song called Hitler Has Only Got One Ball. It's true. It's a World War II era song.
I don't believe this.
Okay, well,
if this were April 1st, we'd be
I'm going to play it for you when we come back because there is it's out there. I will play it for you when we come back. We'll talk a little Cardinals offseason. We'll talk Blues. We'll talk more than that. Coming up with Jacob Sersosimo, sports reporter for KMOV and Matrix Midwest, next on KMOX.
In the last 20 years or so, have you all had buy a replacement refrigerator, washer, dryer, dishwasher after 20 years, 25 years, and then replace it with a new one in the last year, like 1 or 2 or 3 years? I have. I had a refrigerator 9 years old, so I asked the appliance tech, do I need to get the real high-end stuff? And his response to me was, there's no difference in the very expensive stuff and to what you have right here. The only difference is they make them look different, and they all break the same way. The only difference being the high-end parts are extremely expensive. So if you need a furnace or an air conditioner or both, call me, Bart Inman. One easy number, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600, or on the internet, bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, haven't practiced in a long time, but I did plaintiff's work and defense work, so I have a pretty good understanding of it. I have a pretty good idea of who's who in the firmament of plaintiffs' attorneys. And for my money, Mark Cantor is the guy. He's a great attorney. He is a great practitioner. He's put together a great team. He was born and raised here. He lives here. He works here. He wins here. Call 314-628-ALL-9s or CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based on advertisement.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Discover the life you want at Fairwinds River's Edge in St. Charles. We deliver a life-enhancing environment that nourishes the mind, body, and spirit as residents lean into joy and embrace purpose in a new age of senior living. Simply put, we have your back so you can put your best foot forward. Join us Wednesday, December 3rd for our holiday craft fair, followed by happy hour with BB Boomers. Visit Fairwinds River's Edge on Facebook to learn more.
It is 10 o'clock. We have cloudy skies, 53 degrees in downtown St. Louis. I'm Debbie Monterey. Warrensburg police officers responding to several calls about a domestic disturbance Wednesday morning encountered an armed individual running down the street toward Hale Lake Road. They also found a man dead. Police say Tony Barron was a bystander who tried to intervene before police arrived and was shot and killed. A woman was treated for injuries. The suspect was found dead in nearby woods from what's believed to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The person is not being, the name is not being released yet due to military regulations, but the person was apparently affiliated with Whiteman Air Force Base. Federal workers expressing relief and frustration as the longest government shutdown has come to an end. The shutdown began October 1st and ended when some Democrat senators agreed to a deal without the ACA health subsidies Democrats were holding out for. The shutdown affected more than 1 million federal employees, with many working without pay, saying they felt like political pawns. They worry the shutdown might not be the last. This deal takes the government through the end of January. There's been a spike in whooping cough cases across the U.S. Last year, there were 6 times as many cases reported as in 2023. Here's CBS News medical contributor Dr. Celine Gounder.
We're seeing cases increasing across the country, and there are really 3 main factors that are driving this. One, we've seen an increase in non-medical exemptions to vaccination. Texas, in fact, starting this school year, has made it much easier to claim those non-medical exemptions.
Demolition is starting on the Millennium Hotel site.
That is Ryan McClure, executive director of the Gateway Arch Park Foundation. He says taking down the 2 towers and the central part of the hotel will take about 2 years.
The size of the structures, their proximity to other buildings in downtown and the highway, it's not a structure that you could implode. So it really has to be taken down piece by piece.
And then a $670 million mixed-use development is planned in its place with apartments, offices, retail, and public spaces. From the business desk sponsored by Krenz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. After examining the 2,000 companies based in the United States with more than 1,000 employees, Forbes magazine has named the 300 most trusted. Assistant Managing Editor Alan Schwartz says some readers might be surprised that Delta Airlines ranks 10th and Southwest came in 13th.
Travelers are not huge fans of airlines, perhaps when they're, specifically their flight is delayed or whatever. But that's how people get around the country. And the airlines do get you there.
NVIDIA tops the list of most trusted companies, followed by Amazon and Netflix.
Sunshine through some high clouds at times this afternoon, our high temperature 67. Tonight will be clear early, some cloud late, though 52. Sunshine mixed with clouds tomorrow, breezy and warmer, the high 78. The record is 81, set in 1971. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Cloudy, 53 degrees right now. The weather sponsored by the Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyers, an important decision, and should not be based solely on advertising.
Chris Ronchi, Amy Marks Kors. The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Blues, Cardinals offseason has all kinds of stuff going on. We're talking to Jacob Sersosimo, the sports reporter, or a sports reporter for KMOV here in St. Louis and Matrix Midwest, as we keep you updated on everything that's happening with our hometown teams. And Jacob joins us now on KMOX. Good morning, Jacob. How's it going?
Good morning, Chris. I was good until about 7 minutes ago, when you said Channel 4 was doing a documentary on Hitler. And all of a sudden I was thinking, how has this got past me? How do I not know about this?
It wasn't just about Hitler.
It is
I'm
Channel.
glad this is overseas.
No, it's Channel 4 in the UK.
Yes.
That's
It is
good
not.
to know. That's good to know.
Yes, no, you, as far as I know, KMOV and Matrix Midwest are not doing a documentary on Hitler with one ball.
Yeah, as far as I know, that is true as well. Yeah,
or Hitler's micro penis.
Yeah.
That's what it
Yeah,
says.
he said Channel 4. We clarified. It's not
You
KMOV.
did.
Yeah.
It's not. It is not.
Yeah, you did clarify. I had about a second and a half, 2 seconds there where I was like, oh my, what are we doing?
You're like, how did I miss this?
Why? What an undertaking for a local St. Louis TV station to
Yeah,
be
I
doing an
thought,
entire documentary.
I thought we were local focused, but I guess we'll take on the World War and everything.
First alert, baby.
By the way,
You're
and
on
by the
top
way,
of everything.
Your budget for all of 2026 is gone now because of this documentary.
Yeah, I was wondering where that was coming from. You know, I was like, all right, so we're just sending people overseas all year now, and I don't know about it.
Oh man. I do think a local TV station here should just take it upon themselves to do something completely ridiculous
Just
like
be,
that.
you know what it's called? Ambition.
There
You
it
know?
is.
Yeah,
Let your
it is
ambitious-
ambition. I just don't know the appetite for the the viewers on that one. You know, I'm not sure we have that in our budget to do that.
You don't know until you try. At any rate.
I'll pitch it today. I'll see what happens.
You know what? Actually, you do that. You take it in, and just as a JD, right?
Yep.
Nice guy.
Yeah,
Ask
JD.
JD, hey, can we do this? And then see what he has to say.
Yeah.
When he says why, I'll say, well, the people need it. Okay, the people want what they want.
Well, and I think what the people want, at least here, is I think they want the Blues to win some games.
Mhm.
And they did just win a game over Calgary, but now they've got an opportunity tomorrow at home and then Saturday at home. But this has been a pretty rough start, Jacob.
Yeah, it hasn't been the Blues that everybody saw at spring last year. And I think the unfortunate part is a lot of people look at the preseason and think this is the time for the team to figure it out. Well, you're going into the season, you get about 10 games in, and the team's still like really figuring it out and really struggling. Through those first 10 games, they win like 3 of those games. And so they're really struggling to start the season. And then as you get to November, you're hoping, well, hopefully, the flip switches and they figure it out here. They get that big win over the Oilers at home, then they go on the road and they just pretty much tank against the Capitals. So a roller coaster for these fans, really, on what this Blues team is, what they're capable of doing, and how they're going to play. And I think now, finally, you're starting to see a little bit more consistency with this team. And Monty has switched things up. I believe he was playing some AC/DC at practice the other day.
Yeah.
But then they were doing a whole bunch of skating the day before. So I think he's switching things up, trying to figure out what makes this team tick a little bit. But you look at their last 3 games, they beat Buffalo, they go over overtime versus the Kraken, which that was a little controversial, but still a good game overall, a better game overall. And then they beat Calgary. I know Calgary's not the team that is the best team in the league, but nevertheless, for this team, a win is a win right now. And the more that they can stack good games, the better off they'll be in the long run.
Yeah, Calgary, the worst team in the National Hockey League. Vegas has been struggling since they lost a big piece of their lineup, Mark Stone. The Blues play Vegas on Saturday. Before that, they play the Flyers, who are having their own struggles. And my motto is kick them while they're down. I mean, go after these teams, exploit their vulnerabilities and their weaknesses, and steal whatever wins you can get. And so, yes, the Blues needed to beat Calgary, and they did. And Jacob, as you know, that game against Calgary, Jordan Binnington set the record for most games played by a Blues goalie. The previous record was held by Mike Liut, 347 games in 1985. Jordan Binnington, 348 games. So that record stood for 40 years. I learned yesterday that no Blues goalie has ever played 8 seasons with the team. And Jordan Binnington's the first one to do that.
I like Jordan Binnington. There's something about Jordan Binnington that I really enjoy watching him, and I enjoy his mindset. I think in this day and age with social media and all the distractions, what you can get, it's hard to find someone so laser focused on one day. And that is what Jordan Binnington is. I did a sit-down interview with Binner before the Winter Classic last year. And during the interview, I was talking about, it's been a pretty good year for you. You had a kid, you know, you're going to make Team Canada, you go to the Winter Classic, all this stuff, blah, blah. And he was like, oh yeah, I guess it has been a pretty cool year. And I was like, wait, you haven't thought about this? Like, it's been a really cool year for you and you haven't thought about this? And then in the exit interviews, once again, I asked him the same question in the press conference. I was like, have you reflected on like what this year has meant to you? You passed Mike Liut for games won. You know, you go to the Winter Classic again, you have a great 4 Nations, then you go on and have a great playoff run with this team, blah, blah. And he goes, wow, you know, that's a really good question. I have no clue. I haven't even thought anything about any of those things. But I guess that has been a pretty cool year, but we lost and whatever goes into his answer a little bit. But I was like, Jordan Binnington really does not think about things that are past today and tomorrow. And he doesn't think about things that were past yesterday and the day before that. And I think that's really hard to find. And if you're a goalie, you need to do that. So I think the Blues have something really special in Jordan Binnington. And what they've done really well with Binner is when they know they have something special, they keep it. And they've kept Binner for this long, and he's been so successful. So I don't really judge Binner on the first few games of the season for him this year because he's been around so long that you know he's going to be good, and he proved that the other night.
I'm a huge Jordan Binnington fan, and I would rather have a player with too much personality than not enough. Like, even if you're like, oh, what about antic? Wait, I love it.
You know what? I didn't know that. I did not know that he had a roommate. He and his baby had a roommate together, or he and his roommate had a baby together.
What?
He and his roommate had a baby together.
His wife?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you not remember when he referred to his girlfriend as his roommate?
Oh, I forgot about
yeah,
that.
I know
This is like 6 years ago.
Right over my head.
It took me a long time.
He was like, oh, that's just my, I think he was doing a Zoom interview or something, and she was in the background maybe, and he's like, oh, that's just my roommate.
Yeah.
It was one of those kind of
So
things.
Chris Prosperi, she is an actress from Degrassi. Remember that show?
Yeah, Drake was on it.
Yeah, the show with Drake. And I will say this about Jordan Binnington's wife, Chris, who seems to be pretty awesome. Andy Strickland interviewed her on the television broadcast, and they were talking, and he said, hey, do you ever get nervous watching Jordan Binnington? And she said, do I look nervous?
That's funny.
Pretty good.
Very good recall by her.
That's a good recall.
Jacob,
know your audience and know your audience and know your position. That was so good.
So Derek Gould today wrote about Brendan Donovan and that teams would be interested in him. And we know that this is going to be a pretty big offseason for the Cardinals. Just don't know how big. If you had to guess now, is Donovan moved? Is Alec Burleson moved? And we hear the other names like Nolan Arenado and Sonny Gray. Those are pretty good likelihoods too. What do you think will end up happening?
I think Newbar's in that conversation as well a little bit. If they're not moved before the season, you have to look at that trade deadline. I mean, you look at the trade deadline this year, and John Mozeliak, after the trade deadline, goes, we had a lot of hits on our left-handed batters. We just didn't have anything that blew us away, and frankly, we needed to be blown away to get rid of those guys. So if you think those hits are going, those phone calls to St. Louis are going away after the season, I think you're kind of living in fairy tale land. Why wouldn't a team want Brendan Donovan, to be honest? Why wouldn't a team want Alec Burleson at this point? They're a left-handed batter. They're a good left-handed batter. Brendan Donovan can play any position. Oh, yeah, and he's really good in the box. And then you look on, Alec Burleson, he wins the Silver Slugger Award. So I'm just really interested to see what Chaim Bloom does coming into this because, I mean, if you give anybody a year or two to sit under somebody and watch them do something, you're going to want to do your own thing when you get into that position, if you know you're getting into that position. And then when you're finally in that position of power and you can do something, what are you going to do? And so I'm really interested to see how Chaim Bloom handles this, but I don't think it's a secret that teams want those 3 left-handed hitters. You look at Lars Nootbaar, you look at Donovan, and you look at Burleson. Those are players that teams want. And to be honest, they should want them. They're good pieces to the Cardinals organization. It just depends on how much Chaim Bloom's willing to give them up for and what full direction this organization is going to go if they get rid of those guys. Are they going to go full rebuild and just go prospects and all those guys? Or are they going to go, hey, we want maybe some major leaguers right now so we can live with right now? So I know the organization has said they're going into a full reset, rebuild, whatever you want to call it. But I am interested to see what Chaim Bloom wants to get for those guys. And if he doesn't get someone for those guys right now, if those guys perform to what they're capable of doing this year, then I have a hard time believing they're probably I'm not saying all of them, but one of them for sure I would think would be not on the roster come August.
Covering local sports for KMOV and Matrix Midwest, it is Jacob Sersosimo. Jacob, we appreciate you, and get to work on that documentary, would you?
Yeah, no problem. When I go in this afternoon, let me ask some questions, see what I got for you guys.
All right.
Thank you.
Let us know, man.
Thanks, Jacob.
That is Jacob Sersosimo with us. And actually, we got a text during that from Mark Maxwell from KSDK. And he said, I'm a local TV guy willing to do the ridiculous. So maybe he would get on that.
You know what? Now we've got real competition.
The Hitler micropenis documentary.
Well, I think it's a race between two local TV stations. I think we should really, now the challenge is up for Fox 2.
And we had a question to the text line about how big a micro is. Yeah. It is less than 2 inches. Just so you know.
That's why it's micro.
Yeah.
Probably.
And according to DNA testing, one of the worst people in the history of the world may have had one. That's Amy Marks Coors. I'm Chris Ranji. When we come back, Sean Malone is on the Boeing strike, and also he's covering a community food drive that is being held by Corey Bush. So he is there covering that. But we want to get the latest on the Boeing strike because a vote is expected today. Maybe that strike comes to an end. Sean Malone gives us the latest next on KMOX.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Lance Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit lance.drurylaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-day kitchen and bath.
Marcia talks about her experience with 3-day kitchen and bath.
Hi, my name's Marcia, and I had a great experience with 3-day kitchen and bath. My sister, who lives in Logan, had them do her kitchen, and after I saw the quality, I realized it was exactly what I wanted. I guess one of the things I really liked is that when I came back, I just couldn't believe how it totally changed, and everything was all cleaned up, and it looked so great. All my neighbors want to come over and see it. I had a lot of unique features that I wanted as far as the fixtures go, and Dave was able to find those things, and that made all the difference. It was a great experience, and I'm glad I did it, and I would recommend it to anyone.
It's about time.
3 days or less
at 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. YourEyeDoc.com.
Hey, this is former Cardinal Adam Wainwright. Congratulations to KMOX on 100 years as the voice of St. Louis.
Now, Chris and Amy visit with the KMOX newsroom.
All right, Sean Malone is with us right now. He is at a food drive being held by former Congresswoman Cori Bush. We'll get to that in a moment. But the big news of this week is the Boeing strike, which has been going on for several months now, Sean. And we could be closer to an end on that as the union members are going to vote. So what do we know?
Yeah, so this contract offer is much like many of the other previous offers, not too different at the end of the day. But if you recall, the vote was quite different than a lot of the other ones that we saw the last time the union had an offer similar to this one in front of them. That was just a couple of weeks ago. And by the slimmest of margins, the union rejected that proposal, 51 to 49%. So just barely enough to say, no, this isn't good enough. We're not coming back to work yet at this point. The strike will continue. So it kind of already at that point, with it being that close, you felt like something drastic would have needed to change to see this strike go on for an extended period of time. A significantly worse offer from Boeing, something like that would have really needed to happen. The latest offer from Boeing is, as I said, similar to the last one. Really, the biggest difference that stands out is the bonus for ratifying this that the union would receive. The last offer, part of that bonus was comprised of Boeing stock. They would not be allowed to touch this Boeing stock for 3 years. So they couldn't sell it, do anything with it, nothing for 3 years. And speaking to a lot of union members on the picket line back then about that, everyone panned the idea. It was universally disliked. And the reason being is you don't know what's going to happen in 3 years. It might go up. If the economy takes a sour turn, it might go down for Boeing stock. So a lot of people were they didn't want that uncertainty with a part of the bonus that they were ratifying. So that's been taken out. It's been replaced with just a more traditional bonus, if you will, for ratifying the agreement. And otherwise, it's essentially very much the same kind of deal we saw put in front of the union. I stopped by yesterday, talked to a couple of the striking machinists, and the consensus was it's expected that the union will ratify this. Now, I only spoke to a small representation, not the thousands of people that are voting this morning, but that's kind of the sense I got, is that it would be quite a surprise if this was not approved by the union and they were back out on strike again.
Yeah, Sean, I was going to ask you about the vibe that you were picking up, because this has been a very contentious negotiation. Both sides have spoken out against each other publicly. And so does it feel like a begrudging end, or does it seem that the union strikers are satisfied?
As satisfied as you can be. They kind of accepted that Boeing's offer, since it hasn't drastically changed throughout each of the offers they've put forward, it's not going to at some point. For the longest time, they were saying that they wanted to get a deal similar to what Seattle got. Seattle was receiving a larger raise, better 401k matching, I believe, was part of it as well. Boeing's position the entire time on that was, well, their contract looks a lot better than the last one they signed, because the last one they signed was 10 years ago. It hasn't been that far removed from the last time Boeing and St. Louis and their machinists came to a new contract agreement. So that's why that was so drastically different. And again, the writing on the wall kind of appeared that these big concessions that they were hoping for from Boeing just weren't going to materialize. And so while this was a slightly better offer than what they initially received, at least so, many of the machinists feel, really what this came down to at the end of the day is just the economics, the personal economics of being on strike for over 100 days. Today is day number 102 of the strike. So think about you, your personal lives, your personal household. If you could go 102 days without receiving a paycheck from one of your, one of the two main sources of income that your family has. A lot of people could not handle that for this long a period of time. So if I had to kind of describe the sense in one word that I got from Boeing workers, I guess relief might be the closest that I would get. That, you know what, we fought the good fight. We got a little bit, but not everything out of it. But it will be nice to get back to work, start receiving paychecks again, especially you look at the calendar. Thanksgiving's right around the corner. Black Friday shortly after that. So we're heading into the Christmas and holiday season. So now is really a trying time to be going without paychecks after already not receiving one for over 100 days.
Yeah, and so when they do get back, do we know how long it would take for everything if they pass it today and then it's, back to work? Does it happen as quickly as tomorrow, or is it next week, or how does it go?
Not tomorrow, and I'm sure anyone who has had, maybe a Thursday day off, back to work on Friday for one day, and then you go back to your weekend. It'll be Monday when the striking union workers return to work if this contract is approved by the union. So they're going to get Friday off out of this, but at least then they'll be going into the weekend knowing that there is a paycheck on the horizon. I'm not sure when exactly that first paycheck would come, whether it be the ensuing Friday or the Friday after that. I'm not aware of what their pay period is like, but there would at least be that weight off their shoulders of now knowing, okay, we've got a paycheck coming on the way. We can enjoy our weekends a little bit, relax a little bit more on this weekend, not worry about the financial stress that they've been under for the past few weeks at this point.
Sean, you said that you are at the Cori Bush Community Food Drive, or Cori Bush's Community Food Drive. How is that going? Is the former representative speaking, or what are the updates on that?
Yes, she did speak. It was our first opportunity to talk with her ever since she announced her re-election campaign. And I do want to clarify, this isn't her event that she's organizing. She's set up with the West Side Missionary Baptist Church. It's right in the middle of the tornado disaster area. Every Thursday they've got a food drive. So we've been here for previous Thursdays before, but she was helping distribute some of the food here. And we talked with her about, her decision to run for re-election. And part of it was people, her supporters, even what she said were some of her detractors coming up to her and saying that they would vote for her again if she ran again. But one of the big things that she focused on was the tornado and how her approach to how you represent the community in Congress might be more appropriate, in her opinion, for what St. Louis, post-tornado St. Louis, needs right now. She went back to a couple other, obviously smaller, but, disasters that have happened in St. Louis with the senior apartment complex that flooded when the pipes burst, helping people get housing then. And, kind of said that my team is more ingrained on the ground, helping people directly on the ground when these types of things happen. And that's what St. Louis needs right now. So we'll have some more of that coming up during the noon newscast. We'll hear from Cori Bush, and her answer is there about why she decided to run for re-election again.
All right. Sean Malone, KMOX reporter. We appreciate your time. Thank you for checking in.
No problem. Anytime.
That is Sean Malone covering a food drive right now, also on the Boeing strike, which looks like it may be coming to an end soon. Maybe. So we will keep you updated on that. Now, this is a perfect day to talk to our guy, Major Garrett, who joins us every Thursday after the shutdown has come to an end. The president signing the bill that ends the shutdown. And hopefully we will never have another threat of a shutdown ever again, except in maybe 2 months. So we will talk to Major Garrett about where we are now and what's next on KMOX.
Wake up informed. Wake up empowered. Wake up to Total Information AM, your morning must.
Hi, this is Debbie Monterey. I'm Megan Lynch.
This is Tom Ackerman. From local news to breaking headlines to weather, traffic, and the stories that matter most, we've got you covered before your first sip of coffee. Expert analysis, bright perspectives from the people you trust. Total Information AM. Your day starts here. Mornings beginning at 5 on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life, your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Currently, it's 55 degrees, sunny to partly cloudy today, a high of 67. Tonight, partly cloudy, followed by, well, more clouds, apparently, a low of 49.
Sponsored by the Moolah Shrine Center Festival of Trees.
Everyone, I want to invite you to the Moolah Festival of Trees. Come see over 40 of the best decorated trees you'll ever see. Adult tickets are only $2 and kids under 12 are free. November 22nd through the 29th at the Moolah Shrine Center.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far. And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at USPS.com/holidays.
Honey, is our car still under warranty?
No, not anymore.
My sister just got an extended service plan from Ox Car Care.
Ox Car Care?
Yeah, Ox will cover our repair bills if anything happens to our car, new brakes, a transmission, AC, or engine problems. Plus, Ox Car Care offers free oil changes, tire rotation, and roadside assistance.
Wait a minute, we pay nothing on the repairs? Ox gets it fixed for us? Free oil changes, free tire rotation, and free roadside assistance? What's the number?
800-221-6319. Ox has a 30-day money-back guarantee and an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau. They handle their claims from start to finish, unlike other warranty companies. We should call now. 800-221-6319.
The last thing we need is an unexpected car repair bill. I'm calling Ox Car Care now.
Call Ox Car Care for your free quote. 800-221-6319. Ask about senior and military discounts. Don't get stuck with a major car repair bill. Call Ox Car Care, 800-221-6319, or go to oxcarcare.com.
KMOX, your place for NCAA football play. Saturday, as Oklahoma faces Alabama. Pre-game at 2, kick at 2:30. Hear it here on 104.1 FM KMOX. It's Major News with Major Garrett, our weekly conversation with CBS's chief Washington correspondent.
We went through this short-term disaster with the Democrats because they thought it would be good politically, and it's an honor now to sign this incredible bill and get our country working again.
That is the current president, Donald Trump. Earlier today, we talked to Illinois Congresswoman Nikki Budzinski from the House of Representatives, who voted no on this new spending bill, which did pass. President signed it, so the shutdown is over. We talked to Major Garrett, chief Washington correspondent for CBS News and host of The Takeout, which you can see on CBS News 24/7, where you can listen to that podcast as well. Major Garrett's joining us. So happy end of the shutdown day.
Yes. But stay tuned. January 30th, we could be doing this all over again.
Oh, damn it. I thought we were done for good, forever and ever.
No. Let me just break down the mathematics quickly.
Yes.
Every year, Congress, by law, has to pass 12 appropriations bills, 12 spending bills to keep the government fully funded. This bill the president signed last night carries 3. 9 more have to be done by January 30th. I had the chairman of the House Appropriations Committee, Tom Cole, on The Takeout last night. He said he was generally optimistic, but he chose his words very carefully about how much of this work they're going to get done and whether they can meet that January 30th deadline. Because if they don't, and remember, the same essential obstacles apply. The House can pass appropriations bills. The Senate has to pass them with 60 votes, which means you have to have Democratic buy-in. So if 60 votes are achieved, then the Senate passes those spending bills and we can avert a shutdown on January 30th. But if it doesn't, that funding for those 9 other parts of the government are going to expire. And we will not be back entirely in the same place because this bill takes care of the agriculture spending bill, which means supplemental nutritional assistance programs. That's funded for the remainder of the fiscal year, all the way to September of next year. So is WIC funding, that's women's, infants, and children. So high visibility nutrition assistance for those Americans who are struggling financially, that's taken care of. But a lot of other things aren't. So there's still quite a bit of uncertainty between now and January 30th.
Yeah, when we look at the political ramifications of this shutdown, is there a winner? Is there a loser politically as, we have upcoming elections?
So I would say net in America right now, both sides are being blamed equally, in part because President Trump says over and over again during his second term, we're super powerful, we do whatever we want, we get everything we need, and we have nothing but successes, amplifying his deal-making ability. The president sat on the sidelines, did not try to negotiate anything to resolve this. Democrats fought all the way up until the No Kings rallies, which, depending on the way you count the crowds, 5 million, 7 million. No one really credibly says less than 5 million people showed up for the No Kings rallies. That's an activist party generating activity. Then the elections came. I know they're small, mini off-year elections, 2025 in New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania, Supreme Court Justice, some others. Democrats sweep all that. So Democrats do not look at this and say the fight was worth nothing. The fight politically amplified some issues, created some activist energy, and they got through 2 rather significant mile markers, the No Kings protests across the country and the elections, and got more out of both than they might have had there not been any fight at all. So those are things you would add to the political plus column. But in the end, the shutdown essentially ended almost entirely on Republican terms. Democrats got nothing out of the healthcare fight except issue visualization. People have an idea what this issue is about. That's all they got out of it. Not nothing, but substantively near nothing. And the country, with air travel, nutrition benefits, and all the uncertainty that federal workers who were furloughed or not getting paid had to live through, they all suffered. They're always the losers in this. And also the taxpayers are the losers because shutdowns always cost more money. They never save money, ever, ever, ever. They always cost more money.
So, Major, with this, the Democrats were promised that they would get a vote on the on the ACA subsidies in December. So this was the Senate. Is that going to happen?
Sure, yeah, it'll happen. But remember, in the Senate, you need 60 votes. So if there's going to be a vote that's going to mean anything, that's not just a show vote, and show votes sometimes have political resonance, and this one probably will have more political resonance than most, even if it fails. But if you're going to actually do something to address expiring Obamacare tax credits, which were enhanced during COVID, then you have to have this resolved. You have to get to 60 votes before the end of December. Then you have to have the House pick it up and agree to vote on it. And House Speaker Mike Johnson has made no commitments whatsoever to vote on anything the Senate passes. So a lot would have to gel between now and sometime in mid-December. The president would need to get on board. Republicans and Democrats would need to get on board. And most Republicans I've talked to, and certainly the White House, has no interest in extending the enhanced Obamacare tax credits as written, as currently in law. So Democrats would have to get something less than current law. They don't appear interested in that. So I think this is a show vote in the Senate. You have the vote. It doesn't get to 60. Democrats claim the issue, and Republicans move on.
I just don't understand how that wouldn't be a political disaster for Republicans if they let healthcare premiums skyrocket.
So here's what they will say. I don't speak for them, but I've talked to enough of them and I've read enough of their speeches to understand where they come down on this. One, this was enlarged during COVID. COVID enlargements at the federal level all should end. We're not in COVID anymore. Whatever we spent to address things that were destabilized during COVID have to end. That would be their number one point. The number 2 point is they're overly generous. And if you look at some of the states and some of the income qualifications, so if you earn more than 400% of the federal poverty limit, you can qualify. And by some statistical filtering, they've found a couple in West Virginia with an income of $500,000 that still qualifies. And Republicans say that's just too generous. That's just too much. That those people should not have these subsidies because they don't need to be subsidized by the federal government at that level of generosity. The third thing they would say is some people were signed up for this through insurance brokers and may not even know they have coverage, so they're getting these subsidies and they may not even need them. And all of those things need to be addressed. Those are the 3 biggest talking points that come from Republicans on this. Democrats counter and say, look, people have grown accustomed to these. Lots of people have bought Obamacare insurance on the exchanges because of these tax credits. Finally, they can afford it. Finally, they can build that into their budget. Finally, they're having their health care needs addressed. And at whatever cost, that's worth it, because if you take them off Obamacare, it's not as if they're going to not need health care. They're just going to need health care in the most expensive way possible, emergency care, and that sends ripples of cost through the entire system. In other words, we're going to be debating health care all through the month of November and December through the prism of Obamacare. And the Democrats believe, if not at the margins, maybe beyond the margins, that's a net political winner for them.
Man, I have even more questions on that, more questions than answers, as you said, because it continues to be debated. But I did want to get to this 50-year mortgage plan that was floated by the president, addressing a real issue, which is the staggering cost of housing. A lot of Americans concerned about that, a very valid concern. But this 50-year mortgage plan for home buyers that was floated by Trump and the director of the Federal Housing Finance Agency. Is this something they're going to move forward with? I have seen a lot of pushback from both sides of the aisle on this 50-year mortgage.
So Bill Pulte, who is the head of that Federal Housing Financing Administration, which oversees Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, so they're looking into it. Banks like it because banks really do well with a 50-year mortgage because they're just racking up interest more and more and more. You can get into the housing market at a lower upfront cost with a 50-year mortgage. There's no question about that. You don't build up equity nearly as fast because you're paying more principal interest than you are paying down your principal. So your equity to buying ratio is much more extended. So you can get into a house. That's good. You can't build up equity as fast. That might be bad. People would depend and look at this from different points of view. The historical aspect of this is when FDR introduced a 30-year mortgage, no one had 30-year mortgages. That was way out there. 50 years is way out there, which means they don't get paid off mostly. If you have 50-year mortgage, think about it. But what strikes me about this is that it is a political reaction to the election. Trump has basically come to the conclusion, and it's not an inaccurate one, not only did Republicans lose in a lot of these races that are going to be perceived as test case races for the midterms, they not just lost, they got swamped, blown out, huge losses. And affordability was the reason why. And so they had a tax bill passed in the summer that said they would address all economic maladies of our country. Well, it hasn't. And they realize that. And maybe it won't. And they've realized that. Early on in this second Trump term, they were saying, we're going to create all these permitting incentives. We're going to open up federal lands. We're going to do all these things. They're going to increase the housing stock in our country. Hasn't happened. And the only way to at least reduce prices for first-time home buyers is to have more available houses. Create more supply to meet the very high demand. Well, that hasn't happened. So now they're basically casting about for ideas. Well, how about a 50-year mortgage? Maybe that'll work. Whether this becomes real policy or not, I don't know. And I don't know how attractive it will be to anyone other than banks. But what it most symbolizes is the increasing level of stress felt within the Trump administration politically, because they now know they are exposed on questions of affordability. They can no longer attribute all of that aggravation to the Biden administration. You're in power. You've had power for almost a year. People expect solutions, especially when you so extravagantly promised immediate solutions when you ran for the office in 2024.
How will this Epstein files thing shake out? Because we know that a handful of Republicans joined Democrats in the House in signing that discharge petition to force a vote to release all those files. And we also heard that the president's name was brought up in a bunch of emails by Epstein. So what's going to come of all this?
So very quickly, civics lesson. What is this thing called a discharge petition? In the House of Representatives, the party who has the majority decides what the floor schedule is. And there's no other way around those decisions other than this thing called a discharge petition, which means if enough signatures, a majority of the House says this idea, this piece of legislation must come to the floor, even if the leadership doesn't want it to. That's how you do it. So enough signatures have been put on paper. So this has to be voted on by the House. That's an important moment for survivors, for victims, for those who've been calling for more transparency in the Epstein matter. That's helpful. But once the House votes on it, and if it passes that, and it probably will, once that vote is held, then it goes to the Senate. Okay, 60 votes are required there. Then if it even passed the Senate, not sure if it would, there are many people who have doubts about that, then it goes to the president's desk. The president's not going to sign it. He's already made clear his Justice Department has every opportunity to release all the files. There's no indication he would sign that legislation. So if he vetoes it, then you have to override it. So getting the discharge petition in the House is a significant step, but it doesn't resolve the matter. And it won't resolve the matter absent the Senate getting on board and President Trump getting on board. And the White House is digging in on this is a Democrat hoax, blah, 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 blah. So they've basically carved out their position on this. We are not going to tell you anything more about this than we have to. Or the way we're going to release information is going to be on our terms. And you have to believe the way they've dealt with Ghislaine Maxwell and the cushy new federal prison she's in and all the perquisites she gets while being in federal prison. They are, if not protecting, certainly doing a lot of things to hold back information and treat with kid gloves the one person who might have information about this that could be damaging to the White House or President Trump.
Major Garrett, we appreciate you as always. We'll talk next week.
Okay.
Major Garrett, Chief Washington correspondent for CBS News, watch his show, The Takeout, and you can listen to it as a podcast as well, CBS News 24/7. And for us here on the Chris and Amy Show, we've had a partner now for several months. It is Krentz Financial, and Todd Krentz, Justin Brown, Kyle Busch, all great guys. And the company, Krentz Financial Group has been helping people in St. Louis for 6 decades. We're talking families. We're talking businesses, Amy.
Yeah, I think that is what is so important about Krentz Financial. When you talk to them, one, they're so real, comfortable to talk to. They understand the different stages of life that we all go through and things that we deal with. And whether you are maybe going through a divorce, maybe you've lost a loved one, there's an inheritance that you have to deal with, you're switching jobs, you're looking at an old 401k, which I had like a leftover 401k and didn't even know what to do with it. They can answer those questions to help you create a plan where you can look at retirement with confidence.
It's all confusing, and Krentz Financial is going to help you navigate it. So let's say you're just, not really comfortable with what you have for retirement so far, and you want to know if you are on track. And if you're not, how can you get on track? Krentz Financial is going to give you all the support you need, and they're going to give you some really thoughtful guidance.
Yeah. And another thing, even if you kind of are on track, but you're just not really clicking with your current financial advisor, talk to Krentz Financial. See if you're just clicking more, because that's really important in a relationship. Learn more at kfgadvisors.com, kfgadvisors.com.
Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Krentz Financial Group is not a broker-dealer.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original, present 100 years of KMOX.
Ladies and gentlemen, His Holiness Pope John Paul II.
There, when St. Louis celebrated.
We greet you and we thank you. For 20 years, you have lifted our spirits and touched our hearts.
There was much excitement in St. Louis during the recent baseball season.
Could have picked any other state or country to go to, and we picked our city.
I will always remember St. Louis. I will remember all of you. God bless St. Louis. God bless America.
There for every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. Brought to you by St. Louis Public Library, St. Louis's original search engine.
Discover one of St. Louis's greatest treasures, St. Louis Public Library's Central Library. Designed by world-renowned architect Cass Gilbert and completed in 1912, this Beaux Arts masterpiece blends stunning historic details with modern design after a $70 million award-winning renovation. Experience the grandeur for yourself. Free docent-led tours are available Mondays at 11 and 12:30 and Saturdays at 11 noon and 1 p.m. Visit online at slpl.org to learn more. St. Louis Public Library.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. If you've been injured in a car accident, call America's largest injury law firm. For over 35 years, my mission has been to deliver more for our clients, to deliver more for you. If you or anyone in your family has been injured in a car accident, call us now, as the time to file a claim may be limited. Last year, more clients hired Morgan & Morgan than ever before, protecting America, fighting for you. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
KMOX welcomes Trans-Siberian Orchestra, The Ghosts of Christmas Eve at Enterprise Center, December 23rd at 3 p.m. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. A portion of the proceeds benefits Siteman Kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, The Ghosts of Christmas Eve at Enterprise Center, December 23rd at 3 p.m.
For more information, KMOX.com/events.
Sponsored by Progressive. We make the claims process easy so you can get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at Progressive.com.
The Chris and Amy Show on 104.1 FM KMOX and the free Odyssey app.
So, you know what today is, Amy?
November 13th.
It is.
Yep.
And November 13th today is World Kindness Day.
Unbelievable.
It is World Kindness Day. So this is the
Wow.
kind of day that Jerry Kelly, heating, air conditioning, electrical, and plumbing, they thrive because we have been doing 100 acts of kindness throughout the year and through the end of the year. So this is a great day for you to do something kind. And, it just doesn't have to be anything massive. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture.
No.
Hold a door for somebody.
It
Tell
could be
somebody their
yeah.
hat looks nice.
Your
Whatever.
hat looks nice.
See? Thank you. That was a really nice gesture.
Matt had a nice Cardinals Radio Network zip up. That was nice.
Yeah. He got that for free. We didn't get one.
Hey,
It'd be a nice thing on Ben Boyd, works for the Cardinals.
Oh, that'd be
a
so
nice thing
nice.
on his part to send us one of those.
I actually asked Matt, could you get me one of those Cardinals Radio Network zip ups? And he said, you're going to have to ask Ben Boyd.
Well,
Consider this the ask.
Yeah. So 100 acts of kindness, keep that in mind and through the end of the year. One more thing. Together Credit Union is helping us here at KMOX give back to the community. So we want you to visit any Together Credit Union branch and pick up a KMOX 100th anniversary commemorative ornament. It's just $5, and it's while supplies last. Each of the ornaments supports Children's Miracle Network of Greater St. Louis, helping local kids and families this holiday season. Together Credit Union, honoring 100 years of KMOX and Children's Miracle Network of Greater St. Louis. And don't forget, a week from today is our big 1120 day. We are celebrating KMOX's 100 years. We're going to have all the shows are blown out next week.
Yeah, there's no show. It's one big show. The whole
day is one big show.
show.
And we're going to have all kinds of people you know.
People you don't know.
Yeah,
no,
it'll
mostly
be
people you know. And
you're going to love it.
It's all the big KMOX names. Just go through your head. That's who we're talking to, talking about, sharing stories. I'm so honored to be on KMOX. It's such an incredible station. And people who are not from St. Louis, when they hear oh, you're on KMOX, they'll either say, one, I grew up listening to KMOX, or two, if they're in the broadcasting business, it was my dream to be on KMOX.
Oh, yeah.
Phil Donahue, it was his
That's right.
dream to be on KMOX.
Phil Donahue. It's awesome.
Donahue. I'm sure there are others, but that was the one that first came to mind.
That's the only one
because we
that
talked
probably,
to him, and that's what he said. Charlie Brennan and I spoke with him, and he said that was his dream.
It's awesome stuff, man.
Bill Clinton.
There it is. You'll want to be tuned in a week from today. It's going to be a really cool day on KMOX. Hour 3 of the show is next. Don't forget Gas House Gang at 12 o'clock. Bernie Miklasz and me. We'll talk some sports with you. We'll talk Cardinals offseason. We'll talk Blues. We'll talk everything. That's coming up today, 12 o'clock. But until then, it's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
Now that we're getting older, we've been putting more thought into maintaining our health.
We knew the water we drink every day could be filled with contaminants. So
We called Leaf Home Water Solutions.
they came to our home and did a free water test and gave us the analysis right away.
We were shocked at what we saw.
They found heavy metals like iron and copper.
Our own tap water was putting our health at risk, but Leaf Home Water Solutions made it easy to get safer water from every tap and hose. A whole home solution.
They have more than 250 product combinations and designed a system that fits our needs and budget. The installation took less than a day.
With Leaf Home Water Solutions, our water is safer and healthier. When we drink, when we cook, when we shower, even when we garden.
We feel better about our health.
Thanks to Leaf Home Water Solutions.
Schedule your free home water test today at leafhome.com/free and save 15% on all home water treatment systems. That's leafhome.com/free for your free home water test and 15% off. leafhome.com/free.
Attention all dog owners. If you have ever listened to the radio or TV for any length of time, you've probably heard of America's #1 dog supplement, Rough Greens. Greetings, naturopathic Dr. Dennis Black, Amazon best-selling author and founder of Rough Greens here. And if your dog suffers from bad breath, itchy skin, licking paws, joint pain, or low energy, the truth is their food is probably to blame. You see, all commercial dog food is dead food. That's why I created Rough Greens. One daily scoop gives your pup the live vitamins, omega oils, probiotics, and enzymes that will bring their food back to life. Don't believe me? Let your dog try it before you buy it. I'll send you a free Jumpstart trial bag, risk-free. You just cover the shipping. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Use discount code NEWS. Don't wait. Give your dog the gift of vibrant health. Order now. It'll be at your house in a few days. Go to roughgreens.com. That's RUFFgreens.com. Discount code NEWS for your free Jumpstart trial bag today. Rough Green. We make any dog food better.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. The voice of St. Louis.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right, nice, soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
It is 11 o'clock, cloudy, 57 degrees downtown. I'm Debbie Monterey. Missouri's congressional delegation voted along party lines to reopen the federal government. Kansas City Democrat Emanuel Cleaver says he opposed the compromise because Republicans have not assured Democrats that Affordable Care Act tax credits will be extended.
If the ACA tax credits are not extended by December 31st, we're going to have people in our community whose insurance is going to jump up well over 100%.
Republicans said that was a separate policy fight to be held at another time. A hearing is underway in Virginia that could impact the cases against former FBI Director James Comey and New York Attorney General Letitia James. Lawyers for both defendants are challenging President Trump's appointment of lead prosecutor, acting U.S. Attorney Lindsay Halligan.
This is just one of the arguments they're using to get their cases dismissed. Both Letitia James and James Comey have argued that they are the victims of vindictive prosecution, politically motivated prosecution. They want their cases dropped for that reason. There'll be a separate set of arguments in those matters as the month continues.
That's CBS News Justice correspondent Scott McFarland. Former Congresswoman Cori Bush says encouragement from voters and a natural disaster are why she's running to reclaim her old seat.
While assisting at a food bank, former U.S. Congresswoman Cori Bush tells us that she decided to run again in part because there remains a need to help people after the tornado.
My team would have been out. How my team would have been working. We embedded when there was something that happened at a senior home here in the district. We had people from our office who embedded with that senior home to make sure people were able to get housing for a month.
Congresswoman Bush says this approach is more of what a post-tornado St. Louis needs at this time. In Lewis Place, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
You might see a bunch of people picking up litter today in downtown St. Louis. It's the Tourism Trash Force. Volunteers from
hotels or restaurants or attractions that are coming down mainly from the downtown area to participate in kind of sprucing up. We do this twice per year, once in April during Earth Day, and then once in the fall like we're doing now.
Rob Gatz with Explore St. Louis says they picked up about 50 bags of trash with their spring effort. He says today's trash cleanup comes just in time to make things tidy for the big supercomputing conference that's expected to bring 20,000 attendees to the city. The business desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. It's one of the oldest German sister city relationships in the country. The St. Louis-Stuttgart sister city relationship is celebrating its 65th year. The president of the organization, Suzanne Evans, says it started as
nurses exchange initially. Then Mayor Tucker went over there to explore the city of Stuttgart, and they realized that we have a lot of similarities.
A delegation is in St. Louis this week, led by the Stuttgart deputy mayor.
A pleasant afternoon, sunshine through some high clouds. Our high temperature 67. It'll be clear early tonight, some cloud, late low 52. For tomorrow, sunshine mixed with clouds, breezy and warmer in the afternoon with a high of 78. The record is 81 from 1971. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Cloudy and 57 degrees, although I do actually see lots of sunshine in downtown St. Louis right now. I'm Debbie Monterey, and this weather is sponsored by SNL Coin.
SNL Coin. We buy gold and silver coins, silver and gold jewelry. Also buying gold-filled and silver plates. Before you sell, call SNL. 314-544-3600. 314-544-3600. SNL Coin.
The Chris and Amy Show is video streaming now on KMOX's YouTube, X, and Facebook pages. Click and subscribe.
At 11:30, we are going to talk with Dr. Jeffrey DeSarbo. He's a neuropsychiatrist and author of a new book, The Neuroscience of a Bucket List, Getting the Most from Your Brain and Life. And he talks about why having a bucket list can be, quote, brain-changing medicine. And what's funny is I've thought about this quite a bit. I'm not a bucket list person. I've never really been a bucket list person. There are things that I want to do, and maybe we can break down the differences between something you just would like to do on a bucket list. For me, the bucket list implies a heavy priority, like either a dissatisfaction if you don't get it done, or you'd be willing to sacrifice something else that is good in order to check off an item on your bucket list. But Matt, Ranj, you guys have bucket lists? Are you bucket list people?
I mean, there's stuff I'd like to do, but to me, when you talk about a bucket list, it's the kind of thing that you say, I absolutely have to do this before I die.
Or you'll be dissatisfied. You'll be unhappy.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to go to the UK. I've never been.
Oh,
that's
are
a
you
thing
an
I'd really like to do.
Anglophile?
Yeah. Well, I mean, my people are from that part of the world.
I thought you were Bosnian.
That's there too.
You're from all over.
Yeah, like
Okay.
a lot of Europe.
Yeah.
Yes. And I am 6% European Jewish.
Are you really?
I am.
Do you go
according to Ancestry.com.
If you go to Europe, are you going to say, you guys, I just want you to know I did a DNA test and I am a lot of Europe.
That's right. I am pretty much all
All of
Europe.
Europe.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. But so would bucket list, like you said, implies you have to do it, or I say there's some element of dissatisfaction if you don't get to do it. Will you feel that? If so, I feel like that's a bucket list item.
Of course. Yeah, I probably have one of those. I mean, I suppose that is on it, right? And by the way, I'm a little surprised that it's this high.
Okay.
But Provision Living did a survey of 2,000 people,
Mhm.
and 95% of people say they have a bucket list. Don't you think that's kind of high? Or do you think that everybody kind of thinks that they have a
What
bucket
number is
list?
it again?
95%.
95? That seems too high.
That's what I said.
That doesn't seem real at all.
If you don't have a bucket list, let
I
us
don't have
know
a
on
bucket list.
YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or text the show.
And it's not because there's nothing I want to do. That's not true. There are so many things that I want to do and go see. I'm up for adventure, but there's not one specific thing that would cause dissatisfaction if I weren't able to check it off. For
Right.
instance, here's an example. I love Wimbledon. I would love to go to Wimbledon. I was thinking that this summer because, again, I don't have a bucket list. I would love to go to Wimbledon. However, if I had an opportunity to either go to Wimbledon for a few days or go to Switzerland again for 10 days and hike, I would pick Switzerland. I've already done that. I've already hiked in Switzerland, but I loved it so much that I would give up my chance to go to Wimbledon to be able to hike again in Switzerland for 10 days, which leads me to believe my desire to go to Wimbledon doesn't qualify as a bucket list if I would give something up that I've already done.
Okay, then and that makes
Give it up, sorry, for something I've already done. Matthew, on the other hand.
Yeah. My bucket list, quote unquote, items are, I think, similar to yours, Ron. Just the things that I'd like to do someday, like go to England, like you said. I want to ride a motorcycle sometime. But like if I'm on my deathbed and I have not ridden a motorcycle or have not gone to England, am I going to be like really disappointed about it?
No,
Probably not.
Yeah.
But
What if I said, I'm gonna like we took your dead body and put it on a motorcycle because it's something you've always wanted.
Just propped it up.
Would you want that?
No.
Okay.
What if I'm dying because of the motorcycle that I wanted to be
That's
on?
very
Terrible.
possible.
I know
Yes.
that's the thing with motorcycles; they're dangerous.
Yeah.
Okay, I interrupted you.
That's a lot of it's travel. It's
Yeah.
seeing things. I think those are reasonable bucket list items because you think like your time on this earth is only finite and there's so much of the world you have not seen. I would love to see Greece.
Yeah.
Love to see lots of England and Scotland and all these cool places. I want to go to an NBA game. I've never been to a basketball game. I would like to do that before
Really?
I die. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess we don't have one here. And there was going to be an exhibition one
Mhm.
coming here until Jason Tatum injured himself.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, that's
got
terrible.
injured. Yeah.
I went to a Brooklyn Nets game at the. Oh my goodness, I'm blanking about the center where the Islanders play. It's in Brooklyn. Anyway, I went Barclays Center.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
And I
Yeah,
went
the Brooklyn
to
Nets.
the
Yeah,
Brooklyn
yeah.
Nets game. And that was my first NBA game. And it was wild because they play music the whole time.
Yeah.
And I'm so used to hockey where the music stops the minute the puck drops
Mhm.
during play.
Yeah.
The only sounds you hear are the crowd. There is music playing, people are dancing the whole game.
Yeah, during the NBA game.
During the
Yeah.
games. It's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
wild.
Yeah, it's kind of like it's not quite as in your face as Savannah Bananas because they are playing music literally the entire time. It's like a DJ from one song to the next, and it's a cool environment. I think the Bananas should be a bucket list item if you're going to have one because it is really fun, and they're coming back next year. So Forbes did a survey of people and asked them what their bucket list items are, and the responses that came back the most frequent. Do you want to guess what the number one was? This is for people in the United States.
Skydiving.
Bucket list.
Skydiving is on the
Yes,
list,
that
but it
sounds
is
like-
not close to the top.
Okay, I know.
Skydiving was 18th.
Traveled to Europe.
18.
Too broad?
Basically, visit specific landmarks
Yeah.
in Europe is number one.
Yep.
Visit specific landmarks in North America is 2. Number 3 is learn a new language. Number 4, and I'm a little surprised by this
Yeah.
not being higher, become a millionaire.
I think that one has to do with we all have a better opportunity, a better chance to visit Europe at some point than we do of becoming millionaires.
Well, yes.
The likelihood is much higher on the former than the latter.
But also, becoming a millionaire is less likely than traveling via cruise, which came in 5th, or traveling via train, which came in 6th.
See, you can make that happen.
Dude, I've
Go
been
to
on the Amtrak.
Go to Kirkwood, go right here to 14th and Clark, that intersection.
Yeah.
I bet you could get a pretty cheap train ticket. We do have 636 says, I will never have enough money for a bucket list, so I'll keep fishing.
See?
But you could make catching a certain fish.
I will
on your
come fish
bucket
out of your
list.
bucket.
What?
What?
I don't know. Texter says, this is Tim,
Yeah.
who's texting in. Says, I have no bucket list. Neither does my wife. Peace out. Okay.
Do you think he's
Thank you,
still
Tim.
listening?
I appreciate
Sounds
it.
like he's done with our show.
Let's go to Spanish Lake and speak to Richard on KMOX. Good morning, Richard.
Good morning.
What's up?
How are you guys doing?
Hey.
I'm doing fine.
Talk to us.
Yeah.
I called for, I feel like one of the number one bucket list items was my son-in-law, who's a retired Marine. He just got back from climbing Mount Everest.
Did he really?
Yeah.
That was his number one list. He has climbed all of the peaks here in the United States, and he says that's the ultimate. So he took a 16-hour flight. He had to go from here to Florida, and in Florida to, I believe it was Kabul. And he just got back a Monday ago, and he is well satisfied with his number one list on his bucket list.
Well, Richard, what is yours? Do you have a number one?
No.
Okay, good for you.
That's wow. Congratulations
thank you
to
for
your
the call.
son. Yeah. Thank you for the call. Wow.
Good for your son. I would never
do it. Everest is no joke. Again, I mentioned my good friend that we always visit out in Colorado. His buddy that they hike together often did not get to summit Everest because the weather kicked up after they had gotten to whatever camp, the second camp, whatever camp it may have been. But they got pretty close. But they were not able to summit. But he said he stepped over 2 freshly dead bodies.
Yeah.
And he did question, what am I doing?
Pass.
Hard
pass. I love this one item, and this is the number 9 response for things that people want to do, and I love it because I would love to know if the question was manually or you had somebody else do it. But number 9 is build a house. So are we talking like Abe Lincoln build your own house, or you get a contractor to do it?
That's a great question, because one time when we were on a family vacation, random shows are often on TV in the family room. I mean, you're on vacation, the TV's on, whatever comes on. And it was one of those Daniel Boone shows, like Live Like Daniel Boone.
Yeah.
Build a log cabin, grow your own food. And my dad said, oh, that would be fun. I would love to do that. And my mom, without missing a beat, said, okay, have fun. Like, you can go build your Daniel Boone home.
Can you imagine trying to build a house by yourself?
I don't know how anyone did anything prior to 1970. Honestly, I'm so incapable. I joke around that I'm worthless, but I have such appreciation for people who can build, who can grow, who can survive. I do not have that skill set. I'm like the poodle of humanity.
Wasn't it after the George Costanza's his in-laws' cabin was burned to the ground, and Kramer did it? Remember?
Yeah.
And I think it was Jerry and George talking about rebuilding the cabin.
Yeah.
And they're like, we could rebuild a cabin. 2 men can rebuild a cabin. And Jerry says, we couldn't. 2 men could.
That's pretty good.
Mark and Creve Coeur, you are on KMOX. Hello, Mark.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey.
I started a bucket list 10 years ago.
Wow.
I put one thing on it, just one single thing, because I know if I made a big list, I never get anything done.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to go in July to that one thing, and I am going to Auschwitz. I am going to Normandy Beach, and I'm going to St. Laurent.
Wow.
Yeah, those are good bucket list items.
Wow, that's going to be.
Thank you, Mark.
Wow, an experience of a lifetime, and heavy. There's some heavy moments on that trip. Wow.
Yeah, so be prepared for that. But we appreciate you. Thank you for calling into the show. You can text in 314-436-7900. Number 14 on the list is write a book. Who wants to do that?
Me.
No.
Done it.
Also,
not lucrative.
I mean, don't people have to read it? Does it count as a book if it's not been read?
Yeah. Mine was
Okay.
read. It just wasn't purchased.
I'm just going to tell people. It's just out there for free.
Those darn libraries.
Isn't it a library somewhere?
It was. It's probably not anymore.
Let's go to the library across the street and see if it's there.
They're probably cleaning it out. What is this? Good text. Keep texting. 314-436-7900.
It's KMOX.
It's the Medicare Advantage annual enrollment period, and Humana knows not everyone has the same needs when picking a Medicare Advantage plan.
Now that I'm retired, I want to enjoy the life I've worked hard to build. So I want a plan that covers me when I'm traveling the country.
Humana has a plan for that.
As a veteran, I want a plan that fills in the gaps my VA coverage doesn't provide, like dental care.
Humana has a plan for that.
I feel good about my health. I just want care and coverage with predictable costs. No surprises.
Humana has a plan for that. With a Humana Medicare Advantage plan, you get coverage and benefits that focus on what matters most to you. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Hey, it's Debbie Monterey. If you or someone you know has a home to sell, call Gloria Liu. That's right, Gloria Liu, owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria is here with me now. And when it comes to St. Louis area market conditions, what advice do you have for home sellers in today's market?
Well, most importantly, I understand every seller's situation is different. Some sellers need to sell, and some sellers want to sell. And a lot of my sellers are looking to buy, and they also have a home to sell. My advice in this uncertain market is to get an upfront written guarantee. That way, you know exactly how much you stand to make with your home sale. My guarantee sale offer is simple. I'll sell your home at 100% of market value, or I'll pay you the difference.
Take it from me, Debbie Monterey. Sell with certainty and an upfront written guarantee with Gloria Liu. 314-325-6888. 314-325-6888. Or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you. CantorInjuryLaw.com or call 314-628-9999.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
This is Scott Bakula. Congratulations, KMOX, on an amazing 100 years. And thanks for always being a voice we could count on.
We're talking bucket lists. In fact, we're going to have an expert, a psychiatrist, and author of a new book called The Neuroscience of a Bucket List. And Dr. Jeffrey DeSarbo is going to be on the show just after 11:30. Your text messages to Chris and Amy. And this text message says, my bucket list item would be to hear Steve Templeton from KMOV News 4 host the documentary about Hitler's anatomical features. Okay, that's not... Guy. So there's a Channel 4 in the UK documentary that's coming out about Hitler's DNA. And in the documentary, there are findings. They believe Hitler may have had a micropenis. Yeah, and only had one ball. And that was, I guess they did DNA testing on that.
This was a headline that was released, I think, at 8:50 this morning.
And
that's a lot to take in at 8:50 in the morning.
So in the New York Post, in this story, they add that there was a World War II era song called Hitler Has Only Got One Ball.
Which I doubted you, Ron. I thought you were being inappropriate.
I wasn't. It was real.
I thought you were being inappropriate. It sounds like the type of thing you would say.
So British soldiers came up with it. When we found it. This is what it is. Okay, so that's it. And if you didn't hear
it's real.
It's Hitler has only got one ball. Goering has two, but very small. Himmler is rather similar, but poor old Goebbels has no balls at all. That's the song. That was British soldiers during World War II. They were mocking Adolf Hitler with that song. And that is a real... I didn't know about that. Well, I'm sure that things got around, like about Hitler, who probably had some deformities, and he had some, I guess you can call them disabilities, and which is the biggest hypocrisy in history, right? Because he was exterminating people who had them, and he had them himself. So like he would have been in a camp if you know what I mean? It's just it's unbelievable. But anyway, yeah, I bet that kind of stuff did get around.
Yeah, it probably did. We have rumors about politicians that you always hear, right, floating around in very political circles. I will say that this documentary that Ron is mentioning here, in case let's say you just turned the radio on and that song was playing and you're wondering what the heck is going on. First of all, 100 years of KMOX, everyone.
Yeah, come on. Nice. 100 years. We're doing great. Hey, the British soldiers they were clever.
We're doing good. The newsroom is clapping.
British soldiers
one
were
guy
clever.
is.
Thank you, Stuart McMillan. Yeah.
It's history. So thank you. You're welcome. But this is a documentary about Hitler's micro
penis. Yeah.
It's on Channel 4. But
not our Channel 4.
Not our Channel 4. It's Channel 4 in the UK, not KMOV.
Right.
But I do think it's like a challenge. What great story could our Channel 4 have?
Like just or any of our channel, like local. What massive story could one of our local stations just spend all of their budget on?
Yeah, by pure coincidence, when we discovered that evil dictator has only got one ball, when we discovered that song and we're talking about this topic and Ron mentioned Channel 4, by pure coincidence, the very next segment we were talking to Jacob Sersasmo of Channel 4,
and he thought,
who was taken off guard.
Yeah, for a couple of seconds, he thought that what are we doing at Channel 4? We did a whole documentary on Hitler? Like we did it ourselves? Funded the whole thing? One local news station in St. Louis.
Hey, but local newsrooms do break global stories.
Well, that does happen.
That's why you need to support your local newsroom.
Yes. So this bucket list item from Benton, who's writing in from Altamont, Illinois, which is just outside Effingham. Huh. And he says the bucket list item for him is to get a text read on the Chris and Amy show. I got to tell you, you should aim higher. But also, this is not nothing either.
Congratulations.
You're welcome.
So this one from a 314, I have to read because when I was younger, this was a bucket list, except for the shirt part. I had a different ending. So bucket list, go to a Packers game when it is negative 40 degrees with my shirt off. Mine was the exact same. Go to a Packers game when it is negative 40 degrees, but I always ended it with where you have to wear Carhartts and a sleeping bag. Like I've always wanted to wear a sleeping bag, right, to a football game. And I know this because I've told you about my friend Megan, who is a huge Packers fan. When I was 12, she was my best friend. That's why I got into football and the Packers. Her mom went to the Ice Bowl when her mom was little, and they wore Carhartts, and they brought and they zipped themselves up in their sleeping bags.
I have no desire to do that.
Sounds amazing.
Because if you do take your shirt off at negative 40, the next thing that happens to you is the bucket. That's it. You'll die. So you don't want to go to Lambeau Field and take off your shirt and watch the Packers.
Hey, we have
for a couple of reasons. One, it's negative 40, and two, it's the Packers.
That's
what are you going to go watch that for?
314 is questioning the accuracy of your song.
I don't care if they are. Then they can take it up with the New York Post.
They said that song was written by composer Malcolm Arnold for the film The Bridge on the River Kwai, released in 1957.
Here is the entry for Hitler has only got one ball in Wikipedia, which is actually fairly accurate. Hitler has only got one ball, sometimes known as the River Kwai March, is a World War II British song, the lyrics of which sung to the tune of the World War I era Colonel Bogey March. So thank you for playing, but you are wrong, 314. It's a song that's even older than World War II, or the tune is older than World War II.
Wow.
Yeah. So speaking of bucket lists, we have a neuropsychiatrist and author of the new book, The Neuroscience of a Bucket List. Does it change the way your brain works to have one of those? Dr. Jeffrey DeSarbo joins us next on KMOX.
From Cardinals Nation to Chiefs Kingdom, from the Zoo to Enterprise Center, St. Louis turns to the Gas House Gang for the biggest stories in sports.
The Gas House Gang on KMOX.
It's must-listen radio at noon, hosted by Tom Ackerman, Chris Ranji, Mike Claiborne, and Bernie Nicholas. Four of the most informed and trusted voices in St. Louis sports. The Gas House Gang, weekdays at noon on 104.1 FM and 11:20 a.m. KMOX.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight. We are discussing breast cancer with Dr. Debbie Bennett.
It makes a big difference who's actually interpreting the mammogram images that you get. We make sure that we have an expert team of breast radiologists that specialize in reading mammograms to be sure that we can get you the most accurate read possible.
Thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, visit siteman.wustl.edu.
Purina presents A Century of Service.
This is KMOX Radio.
KMOX is celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining St. Louis. On November 20th, KMOX Day, we will celebrate the KMOX pioneers.
This is Jim White for your information.
Legendary voices.
KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
Groundbreaking programming.
KMOX Radio. We're at your service.
And unforgettable moments that have defined a century of broadcasting.
We did locate Ben this afternoon, and we've also located Sean Harnbeck.
Hear from current and former KMOX personalities who have helped make this station the preeminent news, information, and sports brand in America. A Century of Service, celebrating 100 years of KMOX, is presented by Purina, your pet, our passion, on the voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Now, KMOX weather from the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk.
Well, as Matt Pajeski said, it is a bad day to be Chris Ranji because it is going to be 67 degrees today and sunny. Right now, it's 59. Tonight, partly cloudy, a low of 49. Weather sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
From now on, if you spring a leak, need a water heater, or have hard water,
thanks for calling Jerry Kelly Heating, Air, Plumbing, and Electrical.
Jerry Kelly will fix the leak, install the thing, and make that hard water easy. From the company who's got your whole home covered.
JerryKelly.com. If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell and Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kelwood, St. Louis.
For 100 years, KMOX has been part of St. Louis. Now, Together Credit Union is helping celebrate that legacy. Starting in November, visit any Together Credit Union branch to pick up a KMOX 100th anniversary commemorative ornament for just $5 while supplies last. Each ornament supports Children's Miracle Network of Greater St. Louis. Together Credit Union, honoring 100 years of KMOX, the voice of St. Louis, and Children's Miracle Network of Greater St. Louis, improving the health of all children.
Sunday, the Chiefs head to Denver to face the Broncos.
Siteman Cancer Center game time, 2 p.m. Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer.
The Chiefs, the Broncos. Catch all the action here on your home for Chiefs football. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
We were just chatting about bucket lists. Thank you to everyone who texted in 314-436-7900. And there is a method to the madness, even though we question it ourselves sometimes. But joining us now is Dr. Jeffrey DeSarbo. He's a neuropsychiatrist. He's also the author of a new book, The Neuroscience of a Bucket List, Getting the Most from Your Brain and Life. I love this topic. And Dr. DeSarbo, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me. I love this topic too.
We were having a lot of fun with our bucket list conversation, but let's start at the nuts and bolts, I guess. What inspired you, motivated you to write this book?
Well, firstly, I love what I do. I actually changed my profession. I had a degree in banking and finance, and I realized I wasn't happy. I always loved science and medicine, and I finally had to say, I have to change my life, my direction. So I went to medical school. I found my way into psychiatry, and I found my special interest being in neuropsychiatry and understanding how the brain works and how the mind works on a biological level. And then I had my father highly influence me, telling me there's a lot to see in the world. When I was looking for a house, don't put all your money in a house. And he's been a great inspiration. He's not with me anymore, but I always say he's my third author on the book. So it's a combination, the book, of kind of my two passions, bucket listing, living a life, getting the most out of it while we're here on this planet, and my passion for neuroscience.
So we were talking about the definition of what a bucket list item actually is. Is it a kind of thing that you feel like you absolute must do before you die? Or if it's a thing that you'd kind of like to do, and if you don't do it, it's okay. Is it important to define that first?
It is, because it's the classical it's a list of things to do before you die really originated with the movie with Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman, and the term even became popular. But a bucket list really is a list for any age. I'm even working on a book for children on the benefits to the brains for as people grow up. It's really about making a list that's, and using the term list is used lightly too. But it's about making decisions to do things with your life that make you feel good. That I always say they're intrinsic. That means they mean something to you. They have a purpose. They generate gratitude. And there's this concept of intentionality, that you actually get to choose some of the things you want to do. And in today's world, we often, so many people feel life's kind of out of control. We don't feel a sense of making decisions for ourselves. So more than ever, this type of mentality, I think, really is important for us, both emotionally, but literally it is something that grows our brain, and it keeps it healthy even as we age.
And as we age, so many of us stop doing new things. Why? What kills that curiosity and desire to try something new?
Yeah, it's almost a natural biological process that takes place in people. We develop these fear and habit loops, and it's kind of this part of our brain, the amygdala, that gets conditioned to associate unknown things with discomfort or failure. So our brain looks for this comfort zone. And one of the important things when everyone thinks about their bucket list and what they want to do, and I discuss in the book quite a bit, the concept of novelty, that it's really important for the brain to be doing new things. When people have anxiety, they even settle more into their comfort zone and lose their curiosity. They're looking for safety, and that kind of stagnates brain development. So, we always want to be pushing ourselves. Some of those things I heard people talking about, going to the football game in the middle of winter, I can completely relate to that type of a bucket list item, because it's something new, it's something different, and you can even hear excitement in people who thinking about doing those things. I've done the polar plunge with my wife in Antarctica. So
it's awesome.
That's supposed to be good for you, though, right? Just for like a split second, you jump in the water and you come right back out. They say it's good for you.
So my wife didn't want to seem to let me out of the water. I'm not sure about that.
Well, there's everything in moderation, you know.
Yeah.
Like that's how you know. Dr. Jeffrey DeSarbo, psychiatrist and author of the book. We're talking about the neuroscience of a bucket list. Dr. DeSarbo, when you have an item that you want to do and you end up not doing it, is it actually detrimental? Is the effect of it negligible, or is it like a collection of those sorts of things over time? If you don't do them and step out of your comfort zone, then maybe you're putting yourself in some sort of harm's way. Like, I don't know, I'm thinking of dementia, for example. And I know that's a really extreme thought, but if you don't consistently get outside your comfort zone or don't consistently do things like this, is it more likely you will head toward a diagnosis like that down the road?
Well, the cognitive decline, including dementias, certainly can occur if people are settling too much, again, into a comfort zone, not doing enough. The novelty does help offset that. The genetics of dementia, though, can, certainly play a role. But in fact, this morning I was working on a blog on my, I have a webpage, bucketlistdoctor.com. And if people go to it, I'm just writing a lot of blogs about these thoughts. One of the important chemicals, acetylcholine, which is involved in cognitive decline and dementia, is something that when we work on a bucket list, we're actually turning on the release of this acetylcholine that makes our brain kind of strengthen these connections to slow that cognitive decline. So I won't say that a bucket list prevents the onset of dementia or Alzheimer's, but it certainly can potentially play a role in delaying it. And that's when I refer often to the anti-aging effects, which it really does have a very strong, powerful effect. If you talk to elderly people who tell you all the things they continue to do, you just see a different level of vitality in them.
We actually spoke with a woman at a senior living facility early this year. Now, the senior living facility had a bucket list contest for all of its residents. And there was an 85-year-old woman who had always dreamed of going skydiving. Her husband was in the military and was always jumping out of airplanes, but she had never done that. And she won the bucket list contest and she went skydiving at 85 years old. And she was vibrant and full of life. And she said she loved it and would do it again.
Yeah, that's when we see those stories and we hear about them, right? Even for people who don't think like I want to jump out of an airplane, there's something inspiring about that. And I think it comes from this sense of wanting to keep our brains fresh, doing different things. It is like almost a type of a fountain of youth. So a bucket list isn't just that, let me make a list and cross things off. If you don't get to do some things, it's like I said, it goes back to that saying, you really want to appreciate the journey, even if you don't get to the destination. There's plenty of things I have on my own bucket list. I have a category called reach goals, which means I'm probably not going to get to them, but I'm putting them there in case I see that opportunity. And just for now, I told my wife yesterday, on every show I've been talking on, I say, if Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos is listening, I want to go to outer space. So can you reach out to me?
Oh, that's brave. I do not want to go to outer space.
I would do it.
I could not do it.
I think I would do it for free.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to pay for it.
But you would do it for free. I think outer space or those deep ocean diving vessels.
Oh, forget that.
Those two things are pretty intimidating.
I would rather
to
do
me.
the outer space thing.
I thought.
Yeah, I don't have the deep ocean one yet on my list.
I don't know if you mentioned. I don't think you said this already or covered this part of it. But does it really? If you do something like, let's say your thing is, I want to climb Mount Everest, I want to do that, or I want to visit a small town a few states over, or the next state over that I've never visited before. Those are two pretty different things. One is a massive undertaking. The other one is not so much. Does it matter how big the event is for brain health?
No, not really. Of course, you can, if doing some of the bigger things sometimes increase intense amounts of release of things like dopamine. But even the process of sitting down and starting to write a bucket list starts the release of things like dopamine and serotonin. And so, yeah, travel, for instance, is really important, but that can mean just going to the next city, to the next state, or around the block, as long as it's novelty involved with it. The big things, what's important, and I discuss it in the book too, is there's all these categories. Like I list over 100 categories in the workbook, and in those 100 categories, you can put another 100 individual items. So it's not the size of what you do, it's just the process that you begin thinking this way. And when someone begins thinking in terms of a bucket list, the greatest thing is it develops into a mentality, which then develops into a lifestyle, makes you feel better. It helps you walk through life a little bit easier with more fun and more purpose.
We have a question from a listener, and I think it's a pretty good one. And the question is, isn't this just about setting goals and achieving them? Do you get the same sort of benefit?
Yeah, no, it seems like that. That's what I'm saying. That's why even when I wrote the book, people think of it setting goals. They're thinking of a bucket list in its most simplistic forms. But it really, you know, as a psychiatrist, this gets incorporated a lot into the therapy that I do. It's about finding what matters and what means something to a person in their life. So if somebody says one of my goal is, you know, I want to visit the Grand Canyon, I want to know why, you know, and I want the person thinking about that. There's a meaning behind it. There's people. I have a category of legacy. I have, you know, I've had patients say, I want to do something, and this man I was working with, you know, he dedicated a bench to his wife in the park across the street. So I don't. So that's what I'm saying. There are a type of bucket list things that more about that intense meaning and purpose to an individual than, oh, let me just make a list of goals. Because I kind of will agree, if it's just, oh, I want to own a Ferrari in my life and I just want to, you know, visit Paris, and that could seem like I'm just checking off goals and be superficial. But when it's outlined in a structured form, like, again, it's in the book, it's a totally different type of approach and meaning than just the popular concept of what a bucket list is.
Yeah, that's a really good distinction, because I'm looking, going through my own brain, and I definitely have a lot of goals. I do better when I have a goal. It helps me have purpose and intentionality with what I'm striving for. So like a goal for me tends to be more effort based, whether it's, you know, running a certain distance or at a certain time, getting so much studying done, so forth. But then a bucket list item could be effort based, but it also could be something that almost feels like a treat. Like I would love to go to Wimbledon, which is not really effort based. It's not me training for something, but perhaps that would be an opportunity. And so I imagine in the Venn diagram of goals versus bucket list, there is some overlap, but that overlap might look different for each person.
Yeah, I would say that's a good analogy. If you had this Venn overlap, there's these two circles, those big things, you know, those going to Wimbledon. I like going to all the Formula One races. I've only, it'll be my fourth this year in Las Vegas, but those are special things. But I would say 90%, if not more, of the bucket list items that I will always have on my list are very simple. And that's the concept of when it develops into a mindset and a lifestyle, is you start seeing things that, like, if I had an incredible walking my granddaughter Shay to school yesterday. She's 5 years old. And I considered that, and I was thinking how that's a bucket list experience because of how special it was and the meaning behind it. Now, some people then say, well, all right, what happens if then what? You're just going to think of every little thing you do as a bucket list item? My response would be, imagine if that was actually how it happened in life. Is there a downside to that? No. Okay. So starting the process, you know, and sometimes doing some of those special things, but paying attention to what really means something to you and inside of you, that's what helps us mentally and emotionally exist in this world.
And do you have any tips for somebody who wants to start this, not quite sure where to go? You know, maybe they feel overwhelmed by the thought of it.
Yeah. And that's very common, actually. If it's somebody who's new to this, I don't know where to start. And I always say it starts with one idea. But I actually even added a blog a day or two ago about there's something called reverse bucket listing, which means you start by sitting down and you reflect upon your life about the things you already have done that you may have taken for granted, whether it's I graduated school, I got this job that I like, I have a family, I've been to these cities, countries, states, So a good way to start is just by reflecting so you can develop some gratitude about some of the things in life that you've already accomplished. And then you start just with picking a category or two. If people say, I'm not sure, I always say, create a category of travel, create a category of mindfulness, and one for giving back, which is like volunteering, making donations. I feel that's really important. Mindfulness, practicing meditation, yoga. We need to learn to control our brains. And I go back to that first one, travel, which can be, you can set the goal of, I need to visit the state next to me, or the beach in my own state that I've never been to, or the city, something in the city that I haven't been to. And so you just start simple. Getting that creative flowing juices going is really what keeps us motivated. And it's so surprising how it starts when you think this way to snowball in such a positive manner.
The book is called The Neuroscience of a Bucket List, Getting the Most from Your Brain and Life. Dr. Jeffrey DeSarbo, we appreciate you. Thank you for talking with us today about this.
Thank you so much for having me. And if I can just say, people can go to bucketlistdoctor.com, and there's a lot of free stuff there aside from just looking at the book. So
bucketlistdoctor.com. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's Sammy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji. The next thing, this is not a bucket list item for you. This is just a thing that you need to do. And that is stick around for the Gas House Gang at 12 o'clock. That's coming up. I've got Bernie Miklasz and me on that. Former Cardinals pitcher Jim Cott is going to be with us.
As I said yesterday, that's fun.
Right? Isn't it so much fun? And Tyler Kepner, who covers Major League Baseball, is going to be with us as well. And you need to know this. Got to get ready because FanDuel is America's #1 sports book, and it's coming soon. We're talking 2.5 weeks, folks, about December 1st. New customers in Missouri can get up to $300 in bonus bets when you make your first $5 bet with FanDuel, and you can do it legally starting December 1st. All kinds of ways to bet, including live betting, where you can get in on the action even after the game has already started. The app is safe, secure, and super easy to use. And yep, it's going to be live here soon. FanDuel.com/Missouri. Get it there, and you'll be all set to bet when FanDuel goes live on December 1st. FanDuel.com/Missouri. Play your game with FanDuel, the #1 rated sportsbook app. Must be 21 or over and present in Missouri. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Offer starts 12/1/2025. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. I've been asked many times how Morgan & Morgan became the largest injury firm in the world. I think I know. When someone comes to us for an on-the-job injury, we have a huge workers' compensation practice. But many times we find a defective product that was responsible for that injury. Luckily for them, we have a product liability section headed by my son, Mike. In addition to the comp case, there's a product case too. Other times, the injured worker is fired or harassed for bringing that claim. We have them covered. Our employment lawyers handle retaliation claims as well as wage theft and discrimination cases, and in some cases need to file for Social Security benefits. No problem. We became big for a reason. 30% of our new cases come as referrals from former clients. Hiring us is easy. Go to forthepeople.com on your mobile device or computer, or call Pound Law on your cell, pound 529. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
This holiday season, the Dave Glover Show is excited to partner with Hardee's and Operation Food Search for the Holiday Food Drive. While supplies last, stop by any metro area Hardee's and make a donation of at least $1 to benefit Operation Food Search and receive a limited edition DGS holiday sticker. All donations will benefit Operation Food Search to help children and families facing food insecurities. Get all the details about the campaign or to make an online donation, head to KMOX.com/events.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brisati, and Andy Royer. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Cunahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions and bring you a special Black Friday offer.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install a Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal. And now, as a special Black Friday offer, you can get a free gutter inspection, plus up to 35% off. This is our best offer of the season. Unlock it now at leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Dan owed an unbelievable amount of money to the IRS.
I got behind on my taxes. It's a horrible feeling.
He was in denial.
And when I got those letters from the IRS, you wanted to act like they didn't exist.
Finally, Dan turned to Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima got me a settlement with the IRS. These people are really people friendly. It was every bit of a new lease on life for me.
The fast action and the great results made Dan's head spin.
I felt like I was in a dream, but it's real, and I have paperwork to prove it. They got the job done, and life is good.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation.
If you're worried about what's going to happen with the IRS, stop worrying. Make the call now.
Call 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269. 800-348-0269.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Chris Ranchi, Amy Markscores, because life is too short for boring radio. 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Tomorrow's our No Prize Pick'em Challenge. So if you want to play some football, well, not actual football, you play the game with us, Amy Markscores and Chris Ranji, and you'll be going up against Congressman Wesley Bell. He's our celebrity picker tomorrow. And, you have to be available at 11 o'clock, first of all. So keep that in mind. Got to be, and all you have to do is pick NFL games. We go through some of the NFL slate on Sunday, and you just pick the winners. You say, yeah, I think the Chiefs are going to win, and here's why. Just tell us why you think they're, even if your reason is silly, just tell us.
Oh, we prefer silly reasons.
But if you are interested in participating this week or sometime in the future, go ahead and text in at 314-436-7900. Give us your first name, where you're from, and somebody might be reaching out to you. But you have to be available at 11 o'clock on Fridays for it.
You know what? I could see how doing a radio show contest/game would be a bucket list item. Remember Pensacola Jones?
Pensacola Jones. He's got a whole nickname because of it.
Name because of it. He was asked a question about a Hall of Famer, NFL Hall of Famer who played for the Rams, who was named, had the same name as a Florida city. And he said, Pensacola Jones, when really was Orlando Pace.
Orlando Pace, yeah. He's the Hall of Famer.
Pensacola Jones is such an incredible name.
You know, he texted in the other day about something else, and I can't remember what it was. And It's not that he's not memorable.
No, he's very memorable. That reminds me, we messed up. I hope, Harambe, I hope you're feeling better. He was very sick yesterday.
Sick yesterday.
He was listening, watching the show.
Oh, my God. He hasn't texted in today. I hope he didn't die.
No, he's okay.
What if he's in the hospital? Oh, my gosh. What if he's on life support?
Harambe, we would love to hear from you. We need an update. Are you doing okay? Thank you for listening and
Get
texting.
well, Harambe.
Yeah.
Because the other Harambe, there's just no getting well.
He's not going to get well.
No. He's way gone. Poor Harambe. We don't want to lose our Harambe.
Don't drop your kids into the zoo.
Well, that's right.
That's the lesson here.
That poor monkey got shot because of it. All right. If you missed anything, you know where to get it. It is on the Odyssey app or the iHeart app or wherever you get your podcasts. Find the Chris and Amy Show. Your Amazon Alexa will play Chris and Amy, play the latest episode. Hey, Alexa, play Chris and Amy, and she will do it. Also, don't forget to come back tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Hancock and Kelly will start the show with us. Have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you tomorrow on KMOX.